Up. And so if somebody else could hop on there and check to make sure that we have audio. 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 Somebody will have to talk in order to test that audio.
I'm getting it loaded up now. Okay, I am hearing sound. I'm hearing typing.
Okay.
Do you
Great.
hear me talking?
Yes.
Karu, say something.
Hello.
Matt, do you hear Karu?
I can hear me.
Yeah.
Emmeryn, do you hear? Or Emmeryn, Nina, say something.
Hello, everyone. Everything good?
Yep.
Matt, okay. And David, say something.
Hey, how am I coming through?
Loud and clear.
Great.
Yep. We're good.
All right. Did you, Marcel or Karu? Did you hear Matt say anything?
Yes, I can hear
Okay.
everyone.
Perfect. Awesome.
I think I'm hearing Matt's audio is a little low.
His is the lowest, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, let me
Just a
adjust.
tiny bit louder. Works.
Okay, is this any better?
Yes, sounds better.
All right. So that sounds like everything is ready. So who wants to do a... Oh, I guess I should introduce the show. This is DnDeBrief, and I am your DM, Sam Dillon. And who wants to introduce themselves first? Normally I give you the order.
You do normally, yeah. We're
Yeah,
spoiled.
you do.
I know. Okay, let's
I'll
go
go
with
first.
this. Nina, you're first.
Ah.
Sorry,
You-
Karu.
Hello, I'm Nina, and I play Emmeryn and Marcel, who is a human storm cleric.
Now Karu. Sorry.
Well, what if I don't want to now?
I know. So this is why I normally give you the order and I don't even ask. That way there's no confusion.
It's true. Hi, I'm Karu. I'm playing Marcel Petit Diableran, a genderfluid Lutrinian storm sorcerer.
And David.
This is like the call list on a movie production.
I
Right
know.
now we know how we stack up. Yeah, I'm David. I play Axley, the halfling bard.
Excellent. And last but not least, Matt.
Hello, I'm Matt. I'm playing Khonnos Lindaf, the Sea Elf Warlock.
Awesome. Thank you all. Okay, now who wants to do the recap?
What did
I
happen?
don't know.
Oh.
Can Ina do it without throwing a book through the screen?
I don't know.
I know where we ended. I'm just like,
Yeah.
hold on. Where's my notes? I should have
Okay,
opened my.
I should probably just always do the recap at the beginning, but there's a reason why I ask the players to do a recap, because I want to hear what you remember or what you took notes on or because that tells me in a little bit what you found was either the most fun or the most important or the most memorable. That's why I always ask, rather than doing the recap myself.
Okay, I can do some things. So we spent some more time in the library. Actually, finished up our time in the library for now, at least. We may want to go back later. But for now, we went to the ossuary. Oh, actually, no. We learned some more about the Soul Spire, the Rift in the Final Dirge, and whatnot. And then from there, we went to the ossuary to retrieve. We would basically retrieve something that would let us into access another part of the library, the top part of the library that Emmeryn's mother was really trying to get into. We went by some spiders being dissected and whatnot on the way. And we fought some angry bones, is kind of the best way I can put it. And then thankfully we were able to kind of get the key. I think it was a key we were trying to get, and get away from all of that without too much trouble, with a lot of magic being put together all at once. We kind of like magic Rube Goldberged our way out of that situation. A lot of teleporting, a lot of wall of force, very cool stuff.
A very literal Deus Ex Machina.
Yeah. That
was later. Yeah, he's talking about
right.
just the hijinks that
right,
you pulled
the
to kill
hijinks
the
thing,
bone
yeah.
thing. Yeah.
I was thinking of the grand finale of the night.
Yep. Let's see. We used the Book of Proofs a little more. We basically try to figure out if there's a way we can safely heal Lucanius without killing him or harming him further. Emmeryn's mother was really insistent that we put that book back. We decided not to, and we decided to finally leave. And then once we did, there was a big earthquake and a big dragon, and then there was not a big dragon because Emmeryn did a thing, as far as we know.
Maybe it wasn't Emmeryn. Maybe it was what's his name?
Well, now you're playing with fire.
No, I had that same thought after I cooled down. I was like, well, we actually don't really know what happened. The only thing we do know is that Emmeryn's mom collapsed.
Yes.
It was a dual effort between Emmeryn and Emmeryn's mom, and after the tidal wave swept the dragon away, Emmeryn's mom collapsed. So that is the only thing that leads me to really thinking that it was not
Not
douchebag face.
Raven.
Douchebag face.
Yeah.
That's his new nickname. Okay.
That's his new nickname.
Okay. So at the end, you made it back to the royal house, the royal halls, and the way that you found out that they were actually celebrating the abbot was the major domo, who is responsible for ensuring that the house runs properly, is also responsible for ensuring that you know where everything is that you need during your stay at the palace. And he told you, as he was following you or accompanying you to your quarters, he told you that there's a big celebration, there's going to be a ball, and they've invited you, and it is in honor of Tullus, the abbot, having vanquished the dual dragon. That's what he told you. So there really isn't any evidence one way or the other than what you have experienced and seen. And then he basically quickly left you to go help with preparations for that. But Rayla is still knocked out. She's still asleep or passed out or unconscious. But you did do a healing spell on her, so you know she's not dead, but she is breathing relatively shallowly and is still knocked out. So then the question is, what would you like to do?
What time is it?
When you exited the library, it was like coming into the evening, but it's still light outside. And then the divine intervention took several minutes for the entire thing to culminate in sweeping away the dragon, and all the praying and all that stuff. So it's still sort of evening, but it's a little bit later, so it's probably starting to be twilight, and it's getting dark a little bit.
Well, what do we need from these people? Because that really kind of determines how we play this, right? Do we really want to
We need
fight?
an ally.
Yeah.
Because we know that we're probably dealing with a force that has an army of undead at its command. And we're just 4 schmucks. So having an army would be nice.
Well, what if we allow Tullus to take credit for this thing, because then he gains status in the court, as long as we make it known to him that we're really the ones that did it, and we'll be willing to let him take credit as long as he is a spokesperson for us and helping push them towards assisting us with our mission. Otherwise, the other way is to try to disprove him and break up the court and cause chaos, right?
Well, he already didn't seem to like us.
Right.
No, but he likes what we can offer him. I mean, if he truly does know that it was us that was powerful enough to get rid of a dragon so quickly, is he really going to want to cross us if we offer him the opportunity to take credit for it?
Assuming we can convince him we actually did get rid of the dragon.
Well, he'll know it wasn't him. He knows that
Really?
much.
I mean, if he was praying to his god, much like Emmeryn was, then who's to say he doesn't believe that his god, considering it was the ocean who did it, was the one that responded to his prayers?
Well, we do have something that can prove it once and for all, definitively, right? Proof. Give proof.
Assuming we want everyone around here to know we have that book.
Okay, so then alternatively, what's the other way to play it? Try to...
I think the first question we need to tackle is, how do we prove anything without using the Book of Proofs?
Or casting
Emmeryn, it was
spells,
you, right?
Yeah.
right? Casting spells will get us in trouble since it's their law.
Well, this wasn't really a spell, was it? You just kind of prayed and it happened.
Oh, no, I mean, we could use spells to compel him to tell the truth, that kind of thing.
Oh, that.
Or like,
Well, we can do it in front of an audience, and if it's an agreed upon thing, someone else can cast Zone of Truth. I can tell my side. He can tell his side. We just don't have enough information at this point to even know like what happened. The only thing we know for certain is that after that happened, I know something happened to my mom, and she's the one that used up whatever power she had left to help these people. The fact that we were going for it.
When the spell, well, when the whole like wave happened and Emmeryn was praying with her mother, besides her mother passing out, was there any like magical signs we saw, like glowing symbols or like anything to indicate that there was like magic going on emanating from
an
that?
enormous tidal wave that swept away the dragon is
but like from their side, so like there was no like when we cast magic there's usually like some kind of small so it was just they were praying and then wave happened and then okay.
Also, I just have to tell you from the DM's perspective, I need like a screen. Suddenly I need a DM screen because I need you to like not even see any of my face or any of my eyes or anything as you're having this conversation, because I'm just like, okay, I'm ready. Keep talking. Because I feel like I don't have any poker face whatsoever, and all the stuff you're saying, I'm like, okay, I know exactly what you're saying. Okay, yeah, sure, go ahead.
I know the feeling. I absolutely know the feeling. I think I have worse poker face than you. Don't worry.
Oh, I am so bad about it.
Sudden midstream DnDeBrief. How to keep a poker face as a DM.
No kidding. There is no hope. Just ignore it.
Camera off.
You know, I'll admit, until you were saying it, I was busy like looking at everyone else.
Yeah, now it'll be all eyes on Sam.
Now it'll be all eyes on you. Like, you have that going for you. When I have something like that happen, I usually have someone else in the party go, "Oh my God, look at Karu's face," and I'm like, "No, don't."
That's why
the DM is smiling, and I'm like, "Oh shit."
That's why I often I'm often like this, or I'm you know I'm doing this kind of thing because I don't want you to like for the people watching probably think I have some sort of tick or something because I'm like, but it's just that I don't want you to see. If I smile, because, you know, the thing is also my smile might mean multiple things. So I don't want you to like, I'm trying not to influence you, right? Like I might be smiling because, wow, that's a great idea. I didn't even think of that, but it's not really what's going to happen, but it's a great idea, you know, but so.
Yeah, or the smile might just mean, oh, walk right into my trap.
Right, yes, of course, that too, yes.
Conventional wisdom is when the DM is smiling, you're already dead.
That's right, yes.
Then that would end this cool story. So.
It definitely happened to me last Titan's Air as well. These guys started talking about something and I was just like...
Wait, no.
I'm not smiling.
Watch this.
So the leaders, the royal leaders, the royalty, they're not exactly partial to us anyway. They're suspicious of us. They weren't very helpful. It's going to be very difficult to get them to listen to our side in the first place.
I actually disagree with that a little bit. I think the queens were quite I mean, they weren't. I
mean, they
weren't aggressive.
No, not aggressive.
And they weren't. But they just weren't very forthcoming because they don't know who you are. But they weren't hostile to you. The abbot was, but the queens and the court weren't.
It was more. I think it was more just awkward than anything else. My Khonnos' thought on this is, you know, we should tread carefully. I think I'm kind of on the lines of Axley. Not that I'm not wanting to support, you know, Captain Emmeryn on this, but Khonnos is thinking more big picture. You know, there's more that we need from these people. You know, remember, you know, they've got all of our friends quarantined, and we'd like them to let them out from that. So.
My biggest issue is that, sure, that's all well and good, but the idea was we're going to gain goodwill with the queens by dealing with their dragon problem. Mm-hmm. Now the dragon problem is apparently gone for now until it comes back as an undead dragon. But
problems for future us.
Yeah. But now what do we have? How do we convince them that we are a powerful enough group that they should listen to us and help us with everything else we explain to them?
That's the thing, though. So I think the other issue is we were going to get paid to do this, to destroy this dragon or whatever, and that's obviously off the table. But even if we do, say we do tell the queens, like, hey, this is what we did. Your abbot is lying, but we don't, whatever, it's fine. But we can be helpful in another way. We can rid the quarantined people of their illness, so no one else in your town will get sick. Like, we can help in that way as well. And that'll prove two things. One, that we are helpful. Two, that we're better than asshole face. Whatever I said, douchebag face.
Yeah.
He's gonna have about 6 different names by the end of this.
And none of them is Abbott.
None of them is Abbott.
Hey, I bet.
But can we cure everyone of the disease?
Well, that's what the book just told us. It said that we could.
We
Right,
don't know the
right?
how though yet.
We don't
We
know
just
the how
need to
yet.
translate it. All we
Okay,
need to do
so
Transcribe it, translate it, cure them.
I do think it might be a good idea to alert the queens that maybe that their abbot is not being entirely truthful.
And if we're not like aggressive about it, we're just like, hey, I want to let you know that your abbot might not be telling the
frame
truth.
it is like, sure, he probably had a hand in it because he was also praying to his god.
We also don't know what he was doing, because if I had to guess, he's not one that tackles confrontation very well. So I'm assuming he was running and hiding. I don't know. Like, that's also why I want to talk to him and see what he was actually doing. Zone of truth him.
Would be the best way.
And if he was actually praying, sure, maybe. But I know my mom had way more to do with it than anything else. And all of y'all were planning on attacking this thing. We were all planning on defending the city, so shouldn't we have a little bit of like, hey, thanks for helping out? Instead of like this big party for one person that may or may not have done something? I don't know. Like, the whole thing is just... And like, we should be helping the people that did get like burned down. Like, their houses are probably gone, buildings are gone. Just, I don't know. The whole like party thing is just really not...
I mean, I guess that's an idea. Not going to the party and going to help people that are homeless.
Yeah.
But how can we help them?
Well, I have healing spells. I can heal a couple of people. I can bandage people. I can play medic. If anybody knows how to build, like, at least repair, like, briefly, makeshift repairs for, like, windows and buildings, and at least, like, help people find food and shelter for the night, and, like, at least just be seen.
There wasn't
helping
much
people.
destruction in the city, was there? Besides the fire, besides the destruction that the dragon caused?
The dragon caused some, and the earthquake caused some cracks, but other than that, there was not a lot of destruction. The tidal wave caused a lot of anything that wasn't sort of battened down. It possibly got pulled out into the ocean and is floating there, and so there's the possibility of some lost goods, but ultimately the damage was to what the dragon did, and then because of the earthquake. That's not to say
any lives.
Say that again.
Could any lives have been lost because of the?
Sure. I mean, you have no idea how much damage the dragon did before you walked out. Mm-hmm. You saw him or it. You saw it blast a big fiery breath and then a poison coating after it onto one of the park areas. Presumably nobody was in the park anymore, and he was just, or it, I keep saying he, it was just, showing power, showing force. But there's no telling if...
And presumably all of that probably got washed off with the wave as well.
Yes. I mean, and it's possible that some people got dragged out to sea. But remember, Otto went and flew and took a loop around the port area, and all he saw was people trying to quickly fish things out of the ocean and put them back, and sort of fix things. He did not see any like bodies floating or anything like that.
one thing we could do is maybe have our ship assist with the recovery efforts at the dock. Something.
Yeah, we could try doing that. We could also make sure that people didn't get washed away. Anyone who wasn't in a building may have gotten washed out to sea, and
Yep.
right now they may be calling out for, hey, I'm missing, I don't know, even if it's just their pet that was out when the wave hit.
Yeah. Well, they're euphoric now over the fact that they defeated their near-term threat, right? But from our perspective, there's a much bigger, worse threat out there that they aren't even aware of, and our hopes were to use the solving of their short-term threat, so then we have some clout, so then they will pay attention to us, so we can prove to them that they need to assist us with this bigger threat, right? So, like, how do we accomplish that? Because we need to show them that army that's out there. How did we do that the last time? Did we use the lens to?
I think we did.
Yeah, we used the lens, but the last time I tried to activate it, it showed me where my mom was and not the projection of Laralac in the army. Because that's what I was trying to do. The one day I was messing with it.
Maybe the lens shows you what you want to see.
I mean, we can try it again, but that's also a risk, because if it does project from another lens, we might risk letting Laralac know where we are again.
That's true.
And I mean, he probably already knows where we are, so it might be worth the risk, but
if he doesn't, we don't necessarily want him to get to Calport before we're ready for
sooner than
My issue with helping the people is that I don't know how much goodwill that'll buy us with the queens. I guess they do seem to care about their people. I mean, the whole quarantine thing was to help save their people from a possible sickness.
And that is their job as the rulers of the city.
Not to mention, even if it doesn't necessarily get us on good terms, like good enough terms to be like, hey, can we borrow your army? It will at least ingratiate us to the army and their families. So then you get, more volunteers. I mean, we're not exactly tired right now, besides reading all day. I mean, we're kind of tired.
I think that's like a maximum effort for a minimum effect, because you're only going to affect the small number of people that you encounter face to face, and we'll help them out, sure, but we're doing the job that the monarchs of the city should really be doing. I think we need to focus on trying to win the monarchs to our side, because they're the ones who have the ability
and they probably
to assist
have
us.
rescue teams and stuff out there already. Just because they're having a party in the palace doesn't mean they're also have people helping on the streets.
Yeah, so when the library doors had opened, you saw that all the town guards, the standing militia and the actual guards, and then also the Queen's Elite unit were trying to get people to safety. They weren't when the dragon was flying over, they weren't just, hands off. They were trying to get people out of the path of this dangerous beast. So they're not uncaring in terms of, trying to make people safe.
And they're probably trained for this more than we are, so our help may be welcome, but I don't know how much of an impact we can do just by... Because, sure, we can go and help with dancing lights and diving into the waters and helping rescue stuff. I'm not sure how much of an impact that's going to do.
I think the impact comes from the fact that we won't be attending the party, specifically when we were invited. I think that's where we're going to be like, hey, we still have a lot of work to do. And especially if we bring up the fact that we're working on a cure for the plague.
Yeah. Quarantine folk.
Yeah. I think there's something to be said for helping the little guys. I don't think that... Yes, our attention should be focused on the monarchs, and we really need to win them over, but I think that some little acts of something like this will go a long way. And we might run into some powerful merchant clan that needs help, and we might be able to help them, and they can put in some words. Word gets around.
It's true. I mean, I'm not
We
against.
could also divide and conquer. Some of us could go out and help, and some of us can be a part of the party and represent our group and that sort of thing. I could also duel what's his face if we really want to go that route, because that's an option. I was thinking about that like all week.
Mm.
Well, his reputation is at stake, so he's going to do everything possible to defend it and discredit us, and even use underhanded methods to get rid of us. If he's going to ride this thing out, try to take credit.
I can take him.
Oh, I absolutely have complete confidence that you can take him.
You might not be able to
So
take him right now because you recently were in the grasp
no,
of a
not
big
right
bone
now.
creature.
Yeah.
So
I'm
I
a
think
little hurt right now.
Yeah, I think we should either out him, like force him to confess to not being the one responsible, or we should talk directly to the queens.
We do both at the same time? Out him to the queens?
That might not go over well because he's going to want to talk over us. It might be better to... Okay, so how about we send some charismatic people in the group to whisper in the queen's ears during the party and be like, hey, so we don't want to cause a big fuss, but this is what we know
Actually
happened. Yeah. The rest of our party is out there helping your people.
But if we wait until the party's already happened, then the queens will have lost face, right? If they've already thrown a party celebrating him as victor, it's kind of hard to walk that back when you know the truth.
Party's already underway. They can't back out already. And if it comes out later, like, it's a bargaining chip they have against him in the long run as well. We don't have to necessarily do anything or expect them to do anything right now. It's just, hey, just so you know, when this happened, this is what was happening on our end. Take it as you will, kind of thing.
And if I would say maybe the best way to try to play this off is say, and I know this may have ruffled some feathers with them earlier, but basically try to make it off as say, hey, you've got two gods on your side. Isn't that an awesome thing?
Yeah, like, we don't know if Straben had nothing to do with it. For all we know, Straben and Gorus, or Straben was helping because Straben is related to Gorus. I mean, we know now they're linked.
Right. My biggest fear is that we try this and then they essentially call us on it, and they do a zone of truth or they do a divination and it says, oh yeah, no, only Straben was the one who did anything. Then we're
No. I can tell you with 99.9% positivity that Gorus had something to do with it, because my mother would not be comatose otherwise.
all right.
We did something. Even if it was like 20% of it and Straben did something else, Gorus was a part of this.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not, and I think that's the point we have to make, right? Sure, yeah. Straben may have helped. Straben is the god of the sea, and it was a tidal wave. It kind of makes sense. But also, our group was asking Gorus for help, not Straben.
Yeah.
Right.
So
and Gorus was looking out for y'all too.
So it means that at the very least, Gorus said, "Hey, Straben, can you help these kids out?"
Well, then I guess I will try to be as persuasive as I can.
Okay. Well, we go out and see what we can do for the population.
I mean, one question is, why did this happen now? Why wasn't he able to do this the many times before the dragon was attacking and plaguing the city? Why suddenly, when we show up and we've been appointed to try to look into it, on the day that we're here, does this happen, right?
You want my honest opinion?
Well, we're in the privacy of our room. Why not?
Because he's a goddamn coward that uses his religion to hide behind to ignore the plight of the people that need him the most. That's what it is.
He's an opportunist. Yeah, that's how he got his position. He's going to take
He
advantage.
literally will only take advantage when the situation benefits him.
So wouldn't it feel good to make him wallow in his shame?
Don't do it.
That's kind of what happens with all these, appointed things. That's why our people just stop doing all the king stuff. It's
I
like
get it now.
It's easy to abuse.
I get it now, Marcel.
Which is why I'm like, sure, I'm the royal line. I'm not going to do that. That's nice. We don't do that anymore. We have a council of elders. It works fine. It just, trust me, it's better than this shit.
Yeah, people don't like to share power.
No, they don't.
All right.
So was there a coherent plan that was coming out of there?
No.
I think the plan
Still
is,
working on that.
hold on. I think the plan is Khonnos goes to the party, somehow gets to talk to the queens and tells them discreetly what we think happened, or at least tell them our side of the story. Let the queens decide what to do with that information. Meanwhile, the rest of us go out and help in the harbor or wherever help is needed in the city. That way we also get the people on our side. I have everything but one, like, I barely use my magic all day. I'm a bit hurt, but it's not like we're fighting things, we're just helping people. Famous last words, but
I mean, I'm fine with that. I just think Emmeryn it would be better if Emmeryn comes along with me. That way we can say, hey, here is the voice of Goras herself. And
yeah, but she's the healer, one.
Yeah.
And it would be more impactful to see, like, the person who actually did the miracle to be out on the streets, even though they did the miracle, instead of sitting on the laurels and saying, well, I saved the city, so my job here is done.
Yeah, and honestly, I'm not that persuasive. If
That too.
If they would like to speak with me in private after the party, tell them I will be available. But otherwise, I have a duty to the city, the people, to help in whatever. And if they want proof, my mom is still comatose in her room. She used literally every ounce of power that she had to help. So that should be insane, I'd say.
All right. So we
Have
have
a
a plan.
Well, I don't think going out and just interfacing, helping a few people is going to. I mean, they'll appreciate it, but the word's not going to get back to anybody. I mean,
Yeah, it is.
Even if it doesn't, I still would feel better seeing the people, seeing the damage from my own eyes, seeing what's going on. Like, I don't want to go to this party. If I'm being really, really honest, I don't want to go to this party. I would rather
And
go
like,
out.
we just have to be slightly flashy with the helping. And to be honest, I don't think that's going to be a problem.
I'll be fine.
We have
Yeah,
Emmeryn to be the nice healer, and we have two really flashy, charismatic people who will add some magic to the mix.
We do have to make sure that we are like, we need to go up to someone and be like, hey, can we use magic to help? Because if we just straight
that's
up
right.
use magic, we might be in trouble.
Wait, what kind of magic was all magic is against?
No casting in public.
No casting in public.
Yeah.
correct.
So we need to get permission from someone to do something. Even
that's
if we
true.
can't, I have medical experience. I have bandages and
I mean, I can
Maybe
still
that's
swim in
okay.
the water. It just would be
Yeah,
nice to have
like-
some light to do it with.
and if I have to discreetly use a detect or find object spell, I might be able to sleight of hand something.
I'm actually really interested in going to the party. Honestly, I'm curious to see how this plays out and how this is presented.
Thank you, because this is touching on one of my real life fears, which is going to parties.
That's fair. I feel
Yeah.
that.
I
real
want to
one
visit.
is the
I really
party.
want to visit the abbot and have a word.
So maybe
Oh,
Axley and Khonnos go to the party, and Marcel and I. That'll be good. The healer and the royalty go out and
Sure.
converse with
All
them.
right. So first we have to find some kind of royal guard that's in
Yeah, we
charge.
need to-
Like,
So-
hey, so do you permit magic use when cases of dire straits?
So let me remind you, the rules. It says within Calport city walls. These are the rules that were posted and that you were presented with before you were even allowed to dock. It says no teleportation, no casting in public, no concealed weaponry, no open deity worship, no fighting except in designated areas, no fighting excepting sanctioned duels. And it says by order of Captain Lord Tobic, Baron of Jinnock, Steward of Weltusk, enforced by the Queen's decree.
Didn't we technically break one of those by teleporting within the city walls?
And by calling down an entire divine intervention,
that's
possibly.
true.
I was going to say, I have a question.
Oh, it's like library.
Does the abbot wear his symbol of Straben out, like, in public? Have I seen it?
You have not seen the abbot go in public.
Okay.
You've only seen him in the royal house, and you would presume that he also spends time in the Temple of Straben.
And I've seen, like, a symbol of Straben, like, openly on his person.
Mm-hmm. Yep. He has embroidery on his vestments, and he also wears a amulet around his neck.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So no open deity worship, but they do unless it's Straben, or is it just no open deity worship at all?
You did not ask for clarification at the time.
That's true. Okay. So I guess Emmeryn and I are looking for Captain of the Guard or something to inquire about using.
And if you're gonna go directly to talk to the Queens, Khonnos, I'll go with you. I mean, I'll hang around. Can't hurt.
Yeah, I guess. We might as well head to this party and do what we can, and see if there's any way we can get dolled up a little bit in the process.
Yeah, let's dress it up. I'm gonna wear the monocle because that'll make me look distinguished. Plus, it lets me see invisible and other things. So why not?
It does, yeah. Sure.
David, your microphone is a bit echoey. Are you?
Oh, is it?
Turn the gain down just a tiny bit. I think it's just got the gain too high, or you're
I'm
in
not
a
sure
very echoey room.
where that setting is. That probably is the room. Yeah, I'm in. I'm in the
It might just
room.
be the room. It's fine. It's not so bad. It's not. It's just something I noticed.
Okay.
Okay, so the plan is that Khonnos and Axley now are going to get gussied up and go to the ball, right? And Emmeryn and Marcel are going to go out into the town and inquire as to whether they can openly use magic in order to help fix town and help people.
Yeah, so no, nothing like bad, like dangerous magic, just healing spells and light spells to help illuminate the darkness.
Yeah, I mean, when you go outside, it's pretty easy to see that there are guards posted at various different places, and they're trying to direct people to safety or to help clean up, or there are a few people trying to help coordinate a volunteer effort of city cleanup, and there are some people with the equivalent of clipboards trying to write down where there's damage. For example, some of the buildings have big cracks in them, and they're taking notes of those and all that. So it's pretty easy to find somebody who looks in charge, right?
Mm-hmm.
Who is taking a position of authority.
Okay. We'll go to the flashiest looking one then.
Okay, let me grab my notes about the city officials here. Okay, probably the flashiest person is a human woman, and she is wearing not armor but robes with some gold inlay and a symbol on the shoulder that looks like an anchor and a box and a couple of coins. And she seems to be pretty official.
Okay. So we'll walk up to her, I guess. Hello.
Hello.
How are things going here?
Very well, considering the.
I mean, yeah, that was a pretty big scare.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it was.
Do you think the ground shaking and the dragon, like, did the dragon did that, or does this city just have the worst luck ever?
We have had earthquakes in the past, but never when the dragon was here before.
Okay, so just maybe bad luck. We just were wondering if we
I
could
would
be
I would choose not to believe that our city is a city of bad luck, but okay.
No, I mean that you just had bad luck this one time. That it
Ah.
happened at the same time.
Sure.
Not that you have bad luck in general.
Ah, okay.
Hopefully.
And you are?
Marcel Duran.
Ah. I'm Minister Sabatine. I am the chief of the Merchants Guild. What can I do for you?
Chief of the Merchants Guild. Well, Emmeryn here and I were wondering if we could be of any assistance in helping the city with its recent problems. Since you seem to, well, a lot happened.
Yes, a lot happened. What would you like to do? Do you have ideas? I mean, many of the people are scrambling around just trying to gather their own possessions and to make sure that all of their loved ones are accounted for. This is not an easy task necessarily.
It really depends on how strict the whole don't use magic is when it comes to dire straits like these. Because Emmeryn is a pretty good healer here, so if anyone needs help with healing, but some of that might be magical healing, and I believe that is not permitted under normal circumstances.
I would like to believe that nobody would complain if you used magical methods to help them. I have no authority in that area. You would have to get a approval from the chief magistrate in order to do that.
Do you know where he is?
Well, he is a she, and her name is Verus, and she is probably in the royal hall right now. She is in the direct council to advise the queens.
Ah. Okay. Well, I suppose we could go there then. Emmeryn,
as I said, I don't think anyone would complain if you performed magical deeds to help them.
No, we just don't want to get in trouble while helping.
I'm not sure they'll let you into the royal hall at this point. There is a gala going on, you know.
Oh yes, we were invited. Don't worry.
And why are you out here then?
Well, we figured it was more important to help the people than party when people might be missing loved ones or being injured.
I see. And what was your name again?
Marcel.
And your name?
Emmeryn.
Emmeryn, okay. Well, I'll tell you what, if you go along and you use your magic to help people, I will speak for you if someone tries to intervene or arrest you.
I suppose that could work.
I could also possibly... Never mind. I was like, I sent her a message and I'm like, nope, that's casting. That would probably be a really bad idea. Like, hey, can I use magic? I'm using magic right now. I hope that's okay.
Okay. All right. Well, if you point us in the direction of where there is need.
Probably down by the docks. That seems to be where the majority of the force from the waves happened. Although several of the parks have been scorched and it's possible there might still be fires. Those are the two places I've been trying to send people. I have my agents out taking note of all of the damage that needs to be fixed before it becomes permanent damage.
Mm-hmm. Do you have anyone you can trust to send towards where there may be fires still active?
Anyone I trust, but I'm not sure what you're asking.
I can conjure some help to put out the fires.
The refuse men are working on that. They're led by Citric.
Okay.
He's a rat.
I guess I'll go talk to Citric.
He's a rat man. Don't be surprised.
Oh, they're fine. They're really nice people, actually.
She obviously has a look of surprise on her face. Oh.
Are they not?
All right. Well, they don't have the best reputation.
Oh.
There's a reason they're the refuse men. They deal with all the trash in the city.
There's a lot of things you can find in the trash, I'm sure.
Probably, if you go through it. Yes. But that means you have to go through the trash.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'll do that, and worst comes to worst, we just say it was Draven who helped put out the fires. Right?
Is he going to bring another tidal wave to put all the fires out?
Oh,
Is
no,
that what's going to happen?
Tiny tidal wave.
Tiny tidal waves.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, well. Are you sure you're okay? We do have an infirmary. We have an infirmary set up down near the docks. There's an infirmary for the wounded.
Quite okay.
It's not just for people with physical wounds,
Uh-huh. I'm sure. All right, Emmeryn, good luck healing people.
Thanks. Oh, well. I'll message you if I need anything, but meet back here in a couple hours, check in.
Sure.
Okay. And I turn to Sabatine and thank her. We'll try and be as discreet as possible, but we appreciate your faith in us and your word.
Anything to help. I will fully support anything to help. I am quite upset that they're throwing a ball so soon when we have not taken care of the town.
Yeah, we were thinking the same thing, honestly.
It's a disgrace as far as I'm concerned.
Emmeryn bows to hide a smirk and then turns on her heel and walks away.
I'm sure it was the abbot's idea. And I walk away.
Since you walked away, you don't see the look on her face. So Emmeryn, you're going to go down to where the infirmary is. Then is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah.
Or you're just going to go look for people who are sick, or what's your plan?
I'll probably kind of on the way there, just like check buildings, people, just like check in with people as I go. And once I'm there, check in there and just kind of wander around wherever looks like needs help.
So, Astonishingly, there are not a lot of injured people. The people that you, when you knock on doors or when you're just sort of looking around as you're making your way down to where the infirmary is, the people that you find that are injured have burn injuries. They don't have water injuries or partial drowning or anything like that. They're all burns or contact poison. There are people who did die from poison inhalation because the dual dragon was spraying out fire and then a puff of poisonous gas. So anyone in that area who might have been running away from the flames and did not get burned also might have accidentally breathed in the gas because they didn't know that was coming necessarily. So that you find that very few people actually died, maybe 10 total out of this city, which has a relatively large population. So that's good news, but not for those 10 people and their families, of course. But there's a very low death toll. But there is a high burn rate. So several hundred people got burned. And a lot of them are in the infirmary. So if you want to, I'm not sure how you want to deal with them. If you're going to triage them so that you deal with the most injured first, or are you going to cast healing? Or are you just going to use your medicine skill? I'm not sure how you want to do it.
Yeah. Anybody that looks like really, really injured, like close to dying, I will use magic on. Anyone else, I will just like patch up as best I can, like give them as much comfort as they need, and then kind of just make my rounds that way. But definitely using magic on anybody that looks like they are on death's door.
Okay. Are you going to make your way to the infirmary, or are you going to try to stop at every house in between?
I won't stop at every house, but if there's like a particular section that looks like it was burned or like crumbled, or like I see people like in distress, I'll pause. But other than that, I beeline it for the infirmary then.
Okay. And Marcel, what are you doing?
Well, I'll look for the rat folk. What was his name again?
His name is Citric.
Okay. So I'll ask around for Citric, see where he is. He or she, I can't remember. I think he said.
It's a he. So, you start asking for Citric, and when you ask for Citric, any like regular commoner human person kind of goes, oh, and they just kind of point at some nearby rat men. And like move away from you as soon as possible. And 3 or 4 times that happens, but the rat men that they pointed at were not Citric. But those rat men tell you that if you go to the where's he at? He is. If you go down to Lower City, that he is trying to coordinate everything from Lower City.
Okay.
And
Alright,
so
make my way there.
Yeah, so Lower City is the part of the town that has low-income residents, sort of middle-income residents, and a lot of graveyards. So it's not it's literally low down towards the water line. It's not. It's sort of south of the port area. Okay, and so it's not. So you know the town is on a hill, right? Because the hill kind of comes up and then comes down to the lake, the ocean now, and so the port is there, and then just south of it is sort of the what they call Low City.
Okay.
So
the dragon was definitely not just attacking. Like we saw it in
yes,
the area
up near you, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. But up in that area, all of those fires have been put out, and there was obviously a large effort to get all of those fires out as soon as possible. Right.
But down in the lower city, no one gives a damn.
Right. Except the rats are trying to. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
and the people who live there are also trying to put those fires out. What the problem is that also lots of the structures down there are wooden instead of mostly stone. Like up in the northern part of the city, it's more wealthy, so there's more stone structure and less wood reliant. Whereas in Low City and at the docks, there's lots of wood.
Okay. Do I come upon any fires looking for him as I get to the lower city?
Nope.
No.
In fact, there's a lot of smoke in the air because it's pretty obvious they've been putting out the fires pretty consistently.
Okay.
So, Emmeryn, roll me a D100. A percentage dice.
Okay. $36.
So, in the infirmary, when you find somebody who is, as you put it, on death's door, and you go to cast your heal spell, you're trying to not make it obvious because you're worried about, people accusing you of breaking the law. But as
Sure.
Huh?
I said sure.
Yeah. I mean, you are, right? I mean, maybe
Yeah,
you're not.
yeah.
Okay. But as you sort of put your hands on this burn victim and you start to cast the spell, a bright light comes out of your hands and it sweeps almost like a fog over the entire infirmary. And it heals roughly 74% of the people in the infirmary with that one spell. And the helpers in the infirmary, they stop everything and they're just looking at you with looks of awe and questioning what's happening.
That's new.
And they're speechless. They're just, it got so quiet you can hear a pin drop.
Oh God, I don't like that. I'm just gonna keep on moving.
Okay. Marcel, you get down to where the ratmen are, and you can see one sort of prominent, larger, not taller, but more rotund ratman, sort of directing some others in a language that you don't understand, but obviously he's some sort of imposing figure. He's either the leader or someone they look up to.
Okay. I'll approach and go, hello, are you Citric?
I am, and he turns and he kind of looks up and then, and looks down, has to look down at you. Hello there.
Hi. Sorry, not really that much for tall. Latrinian. You know what Latrinians are, right?
Well, that must be you.
Great. I guess rat folk in general don't know much about Latrinians. I guess we don't, we're more ocean people. Anyways, I
think I've seen some of you.
I'm sure you have.
On some boats.
That makes sense.
Your trash is extremely interesting. You don't throw away much.
Well, we're thrifty people.
I like that. Except it would be more lucrative for me if you threw away a lot of things. But anyway, what can I do for you?
I was told you were in charge of the fires, and I was wondering if you had any fires that were out of control or needed special help.
They're mostly all out. We put them out. We make a pretty good bucket brigade.
Well, that's great to hear.
There weren't very many. Don't spread it around. It was pretty easy this time. Last time, he burned almost all of Lowtown.
Whew, so this wasn't his first flyby.
No.
Interesting. So how many people died last time?
I don't keep track of that.
Okay.
A lot, though, because then they put all their stuff out on the street to be picked up. Some interesting finds there.
I bet. See, that's what I told the other people. They were like, oh, yeah, rat folk, ooh. And I'm just like, are you kidding me? They must find some really fascinating stuff in the trash.
We do. You know,
Oh, God.
these humans, they throw away a lot of junk, but some of the stuff that they throw away, it's really, really valuable if they would just clean it off a little bit. I don't know. Something about last year's model. They're just ignorant. They're ignorant.
Yeah. They just don't quite appreciate the things they have. They just throw it out.
That's right, they do. Meanwhile, I have a whole warehouse. You would think they would finally let me into the Merchants Guild, but do they? No, of course not. They don't want anything to do with me. But anyway, what can I do for you?
Well, honestly, I was just out to help people. So I was here to help you with the fires, but apparently the fires are all under control,
Yeah.
which is good. Is there anything else that like needs help?
Needs help. Well, you know, there's a lot of detritus out by the docks. They won't let us go out there because they're afraid we're going to pick it up and treat it like trash. But
So take it with you.
well, the rule says any trash I get to keep. So
Right.
they won't let us touch it because then we get to keep it. So yeah, but so they might need help, but nothing too important.
I mean,
You know,
that
if you
sounds
help
like
them,
more-
they won't help you out. They'll just say thanks, and then they'll keep their goods, and they don't let you in on any of the profit sharing or any of the, you know, job sharing or anything like that. It's kind of ridiculous, you know.
Merchants tend to be a bit stingy.
They do. They keep all their gold.
Yeah. Do you keep all your gold?
I don't have any gold.
Well, I meant, gold and gold.
Oh, no, it's my people.
Right. See, that's why they don't let you into the Merchants Guild.
Yeah, probably.
You're probably better off, though.
I probably am. But then again, maybe I could have some gold if they let me in.
Yeah, but then what do you do with the gold?
Share it with my people, and then we would all be richer. See, isn't that better?
Yeah, but gold is gold, but like things that you get with gold is more important, right? And what if you get them without the gold?
Some of my people think it might be better to be able to buy things new rather than always having to get the cast-offs.
I mean, that's fair. But there's something about non-new things. Like even my sword's not new. It's like 1500th hand, and it's pretty cool.
1500th, and it's still not in the trash?
Well,
That's
yeah,
amazing.
we just pass it down. And
He's really like he's checking it
family-
out. He's like,
from family to family to family, right? See, and it's still good as new because we take care of it.
that's really nice.
See, that's-
I have something like that too.
Yeah. What do you
Yes. It is an old relic that my great-great-great-great-great-great-grandpa gave me. He said it came from his great-great-grandpa, but I never met him, so I don't really know.
have? I mean, it probably did. Does
It probably did, yes.
what is it?
It's a ring.
Does it do anything special?
I don't know. I can't figure out how to activate it.
Yeah, those things are tricky. Not to mention, not in the city.
I know. Isn't that a ridiculous rule? We used to be able to do lots of things, but they don't let us do
But
anything
why did
anymore.
they stop it? It's not like all magic is harmful.
I don't know. They make all kinds of rules. Like the rule that we
Silly.
have to live out there. We have Rat Town outside of the city walls. That way we can do whatever we want.
I mean, at least you can do magic there.
Most of my people aren't good at that, though. But we are good at gambling. Have you ever gambled? You should come to a gambling party. I'm giving you my personal invitation. Let's go. You can come to our perfect gambling night. We're going to do it tonight where they're having their big ball.
Really? So you guys are partying as well?
Well, I mean, if they're going to party, we've already helped them as much as possible, and they're going to party, so we might as well party.
Well, I'm glad to know that you guys are doing well enough to be able to party.
Well, you haven't seen Rat Town, have you?
No.
The party's more about the attitude than the
I mean,
well-off.
Yeah. I mean, I wasn't talking about, like, trappings, because that's just what it is, right? I was just talking about, like, no missing people or hurt people or dead people to worry about to dampen the attitude.
Yeah.
That's what I meant.
Hey, were you outside when the big wave came and took the dragon?
Oh, I had a front row seat.
Did you see the water?
Ooh, it was water?
Did you see the water down at the bottom?
What are you getting at?
It was golden yellow. It was amazing. I've never seen the sun hit it like that and create that kind of prism effect to make it yellow-white. It was amazing.
Huh. Like magical?
I don't know about that, but it was amazing. It came in, and then when it came out and formed the big wave, it was almost like a big golden hand coming out. It was amazing.
Oh, interesting. So it didn't look like the water itself. It looked like someone was...
You didn't see it?
Well, I saw the tip of the... I was way up top.
All of my rat men think I'm seeing things too. I was hoping you'd saw it.
I saw more of the fingers than the base of the hand.
I saw a whole arm and hand come out. It was amazing.
Yeah, I was a bit maybe too close to the dragon for my liking, to be honest, and I was more concentrating on making sure it didn't breathe fire. And did you know it breathes gas after the fire? That is messed up.
That's new.
Really?
Yeah.
Have you seen it only do fire before?
Fire before and lightning once, but never that green smoke.
Wait, lightning?
Yeah, the last one.
The
last dragon that came. Fire and lightning. And the storm dragons came and fought it off. Wait, they told me they're not dragons. They're storm something. But they came and fought it off and it left. But it did a bunch of lightning.
Was it the same dragon?
I don't know.
Did it have green scales?
I don't know if I saw it that close.
I mean, that's fair. You don't want to get that close.
Yeah, my fur doesn't do well in the heat.
Yeah. I like keeping mine at least a bit humid. Or else it gets all, like, stiff.
Yeah. So are you going to come gambling?
No.
Oh, darn it. Okay. All right, well, I got work to do, so I guess maybe I'll see you around.
Yeah. You get your work done so you can go party.
Not party, gamble. It's gambling.
At the party.
It's competition.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm terrible at gambling.
All the better.
I don't trust my dice for that. Yeah, let's have Kara do gambling. Come back the next day. So we lost the curiosity.
Okay, so let's shift over to Khonnos and Axley. Did you get all gussied up?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Khonnos is wearing like I guess like what would pass for like something close like to a tux with like really really long like jacket tails.
Mm-hmm.
But he is like constantly like fidgeting and like adjusting. Like it's either like one size too big or one size too small. Because he is nervous.
Okay. What about Axley?
A shiny, shimmering green cloak, like a metallic green cloak with like a toga across the top with like little
Nice.
gold bits and bobs down the toga.
Okay.
Monocle.
Nice. So if you go to the ball is in a room that is off of the throne room, so it's basically to the west of the throne room. But when you go to the ball, what everyone does first is they go and pay their respects to the queens, and then they go into the ball. So you're sort of funneled in that way because that's what's supposed to happen. And as you enter the throne room to give your respects to the queens, basically it looks almost exactly the same as it looked before, except there are some banners up, some sort of drapey flag type banners that have the symbol of Straben on it, which is a circle with 3 wavy lines, and a couple of other symbols that you recognize as things that had been embroidered on the queen's clothing and whatnot. So it must be the symbol of the queens, the personal crests of the queens. And you notice that also there are 4 shield guardians in the room. So shield guardians are these really tall, basically metal. Oh, they almost look like constructs, but they look like really huge people in enormous suits of armor. And you know that they are obviously there to protect the throne room. They're pretty dangerous, you can tell just from looking at them. And otherwise, it doesn't look like anything else is out of place or anything like that. But basically, there is a procession line, and you're coming through, and you'll end up going through and, bowing or whatever, paying your respects to the queens as you go through. So the question, so after that happens, after all of the guests have done that, then you'll go to the ball. This is how it generally works, and you would know this. So then you'll go to the ball, and at the ball, after the whole procession line has gone, at the ball, after everybody's had a chance to mingle for a few minutes, then they will present the queens in the ballroom. Okay, so the question is, do you want to try to speak to the queens during the procession, or do you want to speak to the queens during the ball? Or do you even want to speak to the queens at all?
I think like when we're paying our respects, I would tell them, we're relieved that you're safe, your highnesses. Our comrades Emmeryn and Marcel send their regrets that they could not attend this evening. They are currently aiding the survivors of the dragon's rampage out in the city.
Oh. How nice. That is very commendable.
And will the abbot be regaling us with his story of how he brought about the end to this mighty dragon?
I am sure that he will tell you if you ask him.
Oh, I'll be sure to do that.
This gala is to celebrate him. So perhaps he will be telling a scribe so that they can record it in the annals of Calport. It's possible that you could sit in on that as well.
Oh, that'd be wonderful.
Have you found your stay lovely here? Did you enjoy the library?
It was amazing.
I see.
I've never seen anything of its like. I hope to
is-
spend more time there if possible.
It is very, very wonderful, isn't it? The amount of knowledge in that library is more than any other place on Earth.
I think you could spend more than one lifetime there and still not quench your thirst for knowledge.
Perhaps.
Yes, we were only there for part of a day, and yet it still feels like we were there for years and only barely scratched the surface.
Yes. Tavros does have that effect on people. He is so old that it makes you feel as though you've been there forever, so to speak. She kind of giggles. In that kind of way that queens aren't supposed to giggle, you know?
Scandalous.
Yes, in fact, it was very shocking when we exited the library. We walked right out into the dragon's wrath. That was a shock to
Yes.
leave our studies.
Well, we suspected that he would be coming again soon because all of the signs were there. We tried to warn you.
Yes, you did.
Emmeryn's face.
Well, perhaps later we can meet up and we can tell you our story of the conflict with the dragon.
Perhaps. When would you like to do so?
Oh, maybe we'll look for you in the ballroom when we have some time. I'm sure you have many hands to shake.
Of course.
And vows to accept.
Such is the duty of a queen.
A pleasure to talk to you again, Your Highness's Highness.
Your Highness is fine. Thank you. And she looks to the next person in line as if to say, move along.
Let's proceed inside.
Roll me a perception check.
Natural 20.
7.
You notice that
20. Dirty 20, sorry.
how much?
20 total.
Okay. Both of you notice that as you move on, the next person in line is interrupted by one of the queen's advisors bending down and whispering something in her ear. And Axley, you see that there is a person following you, the two of you, who is invisible. He is dressed in, like, court clothing. He's not wearing armor or anything. He's just wearing the garb of a sort of squire who runs errands for the royals in the court. But he is invisible and he is following you. He's a human. And because he's invisible, he's not, like, trying to, like, hide. He's just trying not to bump into other people. But he's not hiding. He's following you.
Okay. But he's not interacting with anyone? He's just staying at a distance and kind of moving as we move?
Right.
Okay. All right, we'll move inside.
Okay. And so you get over into the main ballroom, and it is pretty much what you might expect from a kind of pseudo-medieval scene. There are a bunch of very well-dressed people dancing in the middle. A sort of formalized ball dance. And, we lost somebody on Whereabouts,
Oh.
looks like.
Uh-oh. Does Matt drop out? I don't see his video.
Yeah, let me... Oh, there he goes.
Sorry.
That's right.
Sorry.
Whereby now doesn't keep the regular order. It pops out if somebody loses their signal. So,
Oh, sorry about that.
but that's okay. It came back. I don't know. I was just afraid I was going to have to rejigger everything. But anyway, so you walk into this ball, and there are people well-dressed dancing in the middle area. There's pillars around. There's a big, enormous, like, chandelier lighting the entire place. There are tables with food along the two walls on the east and west, and there are, assistants there to help you, get a plate or get silverware or refill the food or whatever. And there are several various different groups of people milling about and talking to each other. Yeah, so typical kind of enormous rich person party.
I want to keep my eye out for the abbot if I can find him, and just try to keep my eyes on him.
Yeah, let's. Do we know where he is? Do we see him?
Roll a perception check.
7.
18.
You don't see the abbot, but you do see a couple of acolytes of Straben that are sort of in the back corner near where one of the doors, the sort of private doors are. They're not secret doors, but they're private doors. So you might assume that is where the abbot is going to enter the ball when he gets ready.
I'll point those two out to Axley and say, "Hey, don't see him yet, but there's a couple folks dressed in clergy garb up there. That's probably where he's going to come from."
Excellent. I'm hungry. Let's go check out this spread. Let's go see what delicacies they prepared for us.
Yeah. Grab a plate.
Yes, I'm gonna balance several plates. Is there any food that's like incredibly like powdered, sugary, and incredibly like bright in color and slimy and sticky? Puddings.
Most of it's probably finger food, but knowing the royalty, there probably are some things that are, relatively slimy, kind of, delicacies, right? That are kind of gross, and that a non-royal, non-noble probably would not eat. So yeah, you could probably find something. I don't know, something like fresh octopus legs, or some kind of uncooked caviar type food.
Any desserts that have like sticky like cream filling or raspberry?
Any beignets, powdered sugar?
Exactly.
I'm sure you can find ample, sort of puff pastry type things filled with various different fruit fillings and custardy type things for sure. Yeah.
Okay,
I don't see why not. I mean, they go all out, right? Like this is, this is a show of wealth and the thing is, like, the reason that they would be having the ball, even though the dragon, just happened and there's still damage in town, they're trying to show, oh, see, we're still doing business as usual. We're still able to provide, the noble houses with the best of the best. And so, you're getting, the best pastry chefs cooking the best pastries, making the best types of custards, the best, fruit fillings, the best everything.
Eel pie, boiled flamingo livers, all
that
good stuff.
You've got the, you've got fresh eel, cooked eel, skinned eel, dried eel, you've got the all manner of everything, right? In whatever variation, right? You've got escargot, you've got escargot didn't go.
Escar went.
Escar went. Yeah, you've got cooked snails, raw snails, snails with butter sauce, snails with a creamy tartar sauce. You've got every manner of, that's mostly seafood, right? There's no like beef or chicken really. It's all either seafood or it's like the other internal organs of animals that are sort of less. It's like livers and like the sweetbreads, which are really like, adrenal glands and whatnot, or, different internal organs that are like the gross ones that normal people don't eat, right? You only eat these if you're really well off and you can afford to eat a little bit of very rich food.
Yep.
So
excellent. Yeah, I'm gonna get a good bowl of tartar sauce with a bunch of stuff on the side.
Yeah. Okay.
Caviar.
Khonnos makes a point, like anytime he sees someone with with a plate of octopus, he just like, how can you eat that? kind of look on his face, like ugh.
I'm gonna actually fix a few plates for Khonnos too, and then push them his way and say, Khonnos, I think you're gonna want to hold on to these as this evening reveals itself, and I wink at him through the monocle. They may prove useful.
Okay. All right, I'll hold on to these. Sounds good. Occasionally take a little nibble, but yeah.
Where is this person? Is he following us?
Yeah, he's still following you. I mean, he's, like I said, he's not like hiding because he knows he's invisible. So he's trying not to touch anyone else because that would reveal that he's there. But he's not, you know, he's just basically openly following you. But I mean, he's invisible, so he's not openly following you. But you know,
Yeah. So I want to. Is there a corner of the room that I can maybe maneuver him into if I pretend like I'm not aware of him? That would be a good spot to like back him into a corner.
Let's see. How would I do that? Got too much stuff. This is a common thing. I've got too much stuff on my desk again. I know you're all shocked. Let's see. Why don't you give me a performance check?
Okay.
Did you tell Khonnos? You didn't tell Khonnos, did you?
Oh, I hinted at it. I don't think I got a chance if he's close, right?
Yeah.
I don't want him to overhear. Okay, performance.
I mean, he's a few feet behind you. He's not like. Right
I rolled a natural 20, and my performance is plus 6.
Okay.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, you easily can get him in a
I'm
corner.
rolling this die all night.
When you need it to roll really high, it's going to fail you.
Yeah,
So you know.
yeah, exactly.
You
Okay.
easily trap him. What are you?
I just want him to be in a corner where he's got a very limited way that he can go. He's, I know exactly where he is.
Okay. So you sort of moved so that you're in the corner, and then you kind of backed up so that he
With my
can't.
back to it.
Yeah, he can't really get away from you, and then Khonnos is right there with you. So
Yeah, and he probably thinks he's in a good spot because he can't like have someone come stumble into him
Right.
from behind. So
Exactly.
okay, I'll just stay still there. What's going on in the whole room?
The problem with it is that you are now in the other corner compared to where the door where you think that the abbot is going to come out of. That's the only problem with the plan. Because you couldn't do it in that corner because the two acolytes were there. So, otherwise, what's going on is people are just having a big party. They're dancing. They're people going to the food back and forth, and there are a few tables set up in the back, and they're sort of standing around them, and just people having a good time. All very wealthy, noble people, or people who belong to the court who, you know, you're not sure if they're there because they're trying to actually show off, or if, you know, it would be detrimental to their family if they did not go, right? So just in terms of the motivation there, you're not really sure. Because some of the people definitely don't look happy, right? They look, you know, they're just there because they have to be. So let's switch back to Emmeryn and Marcel real quick. So Marcel, you just finished talking to Citric, the rat refuseman leader.
Since I'm close, I'm gonna wander towards the harbor to see what kind of mess is going on over there.
There are many people sort of, you know, trying to make human chains to grab things that are sort of floating, and there's several people trying to repair dock boards and trying to make sure that the ships are anchored and aren't going to float away and things like that. There's a lot of activity over there.
Okay. And they're just trying to recover things from the water.
That's what it looks like, yeah. Or they're repairing the docks themselves.
Okay. I'll look to see if there's anyone like coordinating efforts.
Not really. I mean, well, so you can walk through the dock area, down the docks. Okay. Roll me a perception check.
Okay. 17.
You get about halfway through the dock area because there's a very long dock area, and then they have docks that come out into the water. So there's sort of what we would call the boardwalk area, right? And then there's docks going out. When you get about halfway down that boardwalk area, you're looking at somebody on the far end away from you, and it looks like a human male, and he is directing and ordering people around, and it looks very familiar. And as you walk closer, after a couple of minutes, you realize that's Sharkface.
I thought he was. Can I throw him in the water?
Can you throw him in the water?
Okay, so it's Sharkface and human in his like human disguise.
Mm-hmm.
Fascinating. What is he doing? Like coordinating people to like help?
He's telling people how to make sure they don't accidentally make it worse by getting out in the water and getting stuck and needing people to, he's, coordinating people to use big nets instead of have a big human chain out far out into the ocean, and, getting little boats together and getting them in groups to go out and gather all the materials. I mean, he looks like he's directing
He knows what
the
he's doing.
efforts. Yeah. Looks like it.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll make my way towards him.
Okay.
Do we have a name for Sharkface besides Sharkface? I can't remember.
You never asked.
Right. We never asked. 'Cause we never cared.
All you know is that his brother's name is Lucanius.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll walk up to him and try to catch his eye, like wave my hand or something since I'm tiny. Down here!
Oh, good, you're alive. Excellent.
Well, yes.
What's happening?
Thanks mostly to Emmeryn, of course, our savior.
Ah, yes, well.
Yes, well.
Well, I mean, of course, right? Isn't she
I
the
thought
big
you were
cleric-y
in
person?
well, yes. I thought you were in the quarantine area.
I was, but when the big tidal wave came, it destroyed a lot of the oceanfront area there, so I started organizing people, and we fixed it up.
How are the people in the quarantine area?
They seem to be okay.
Okay, so no
I mean,
damage.
I didn't go look to see if they're still, diseased and all that. I stayed away from them because I didn't want to be forced to quarantine more again.
That's fair. So you didn't see your brother?
I did not.
Okay. So are your shark helping it as well?
Is the what?
You have like sharks that work for you, don't you?
What do you mean?
No? Okay. I thought there was like sharks around your ship.
Well, of course there were, but they're in the water. They stay in the water. They can't.
They're not eating people who fell in the water, right?
Well, no, of course not.
Right. But they're not helping people out of the water either.
Well, would it help if a big shark came swimming near you when you're scared of being pulled out to sea further?
Probably not. Not a good idea, I guess.
That's what I thought.
How's the lighting situation going on here? Like, how are they working? Like, how are they finding things? Because it's getting dark, isn't it?
It is getting dark. Most of them are holding torches.
So finding things in the water is boat with a torch.
Right.
Maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
They're mostly looking for people in movement now.
Kind of calling out and hoping for a response.
Right.
If there's anyone. So have you people saying that there's missing people, or I heard there was, for the most part, no problems there.
I have not heard of any people myself.
Just contents of crates and such. I'm surprised the Merchants Guild isn't here trying to organize this.
Well, I'm not surprised. There's no money in helping people.
There's a lot of money in saving your cargo from sinking to the bottom of the ocean.
Well, I don't think any of the warehouses were damaged, and the ships here are all insured.
Sounds about right. Well, I guess I should leave you to your work. And maybe don't flaunt my status as clout next time.
I had to get it so that they would let you in right away. What kind of effort are you making to get the quarantine released?
We're working on it. We were gonna deal with the dragon in exchange for
And they
help
wouldn't
with
have
the-
even listened to you or heard you at all if they didn't know you were royalty. You certainly weren't going to tell them, were you?
Why would I? It's not like it means anything.
Why
It's
wouldn't
just-
you? It means something to them. It doesn't have to mean anything to you.
I suppose you're right. But I don't have to like it.
That is true. There's lots of things I don't like too.
We may have a lead on on helping your brother, by the way.
Oh, yes? What is it?
We don't know yet. It's complicated, but we're working on it. And I figured you'd want to know. This obviously isn't helping because it's got us all distracted, but
Yes, did you see the big wave?
I heard something about golden hand, gold light in the base. Did you see anything?
No, I didn't see any of that. But I saw a big wave. It was
Well,
amazing.
yes. Well, that's what Emmeryn did.
The what?
It was us. Who else was it going to be? Who else in this place has the power to call on the
I should have
gods?
known. Ha! I should have known it was you. I knew
Of course, the
Was it
royal
the amulet?
What?
The amulet.
Which amulet?
The one around your neck.
No,
Oh.
it's not
What?
around. my
How
neck
did you do
anyways.
that then? Was it the sword? Oh, tell me it was the sword. Is that what it
was
does?
Not me. The sword just dances.
Just. You know how many people would kill for that sword?
I'll have to wait. Have
Have you heard of the Ratman gambling den? I bet they would wager so much for that sword.
Yes, and I would not put it up for a wager at all. It's a family
Of
heirloom.
course. But you don't care about it, right? That's what you just told me.
Matt, I feel you so hard right now.
No.
We're all over here like, oh god, no, please.
No, the wave was Emmeryn's doing, not mine.
Are you sure?
I can control a tiny wave, not the whole tsunami.
What about the Haka? Was it him? Are you sure he didn't do something? I mean, it was a wave. Maybe the coral was in there.
I heard there was some kind of golden light or golden something in the wave.
I didn't see that.
Were you at the base of it?
Yeah, it was right here in quarantine. Right over there. And he points, a few hundred feet
Wait.
away.
Did it originate from the quarantine area?
No, it came from the ocean.
Oh, okay. Well, all I know is apparently we've got the gods on our side, which is good to know that we have some gods on our side, and that's great news.
That is good news.
Yes.
I thought it was the amulet.
No. That thing is powered by the bad people that are trying to kill your brother, and turn him into some kind of undead monstrosity.
So what's the cure?
I don't know. I just know there is a cure.
I'm not sure there's enough time. He's looking pretty bad.
I suspect it wouldn't have said that we could heal him if he was going to die before we could do anything.
What wouldn't have said?
The gods, obviously.
Oh.
You know, the gods
Okay.
that are helping us. So you have to have faith in the gods. But not loudly, because apparently it's against the law here.
Yeah, I saw those rules posted. Foolish humans.
Yeah, I wonder what's up with that. There must have been some kind of situation regarding magic that...
No one will tell me.
Sour.
I've been asking. No one knows. No one will tell me.
I bet they would down in the rat folk place.
You want to go with me? I hear they have a good gambling hall.
I am terrible at gambling.
Everyone thinks that, but I bet your royalty is lucky.
Yeah, I'd rather not bet my royalty on my luck.
Okay. Emmeryn, what are you doing?
Keeping my head down. After I've done as much as I can at the infirmary.
As much as you can, you mean heal every single person?
I mean, not like I said, I'm trying to heal the people at death's doorstep. The ones that are really, really bad. And then the rest I'm just kind of bandaging up and like, you're gonna be okay, like that kind of thing. So I'm hoping that doesn't take a terribly long time.
I mean, yeah, not really. Everyone is completely quiet when you're in there, and they just... No one... They're like in deference. You move somewhere and they get out of your way as fast as possible. You know, there's no one wants to interrupt you or break the silence. They are just...
Oh my god. Ugh. Okay. Is there someone that looks like they're in charge?
I mean, yeah, there were, you know, people in the infirmary when you went in that were already bandaging people and whatnot. So, you know, any of them, I mean, in charge, no, maybe not. But there are people that are obviously working there and bandaging people and trying to keep track of who is who and all that sort of thing.
Okay. I would like to speak with one of them after I'm kind of like feeling good about everybody's condition. I would like to find the closest one.
Okay. So there is a human male who is wearing a tunic that it looks pretty dirty, as if, you know, he's been helping out and trying to, you know, help people and whatnot for a while. He's probably the closest to anybody who you've seen sort of tell others what to do.
Okay. We'll approach him.
Okay.
Hi. Are
says,
you guys...
Thank you.
Of course.
I think we would have lost them.
Yeah.
Are you from the temple?
Not the Temple of Straben, no. I'm from,
Nadinui?
Trasenfen. No. Temple of Gorast.
Oh. I see.
Yeah.
Well, I am glad that you are here. I have not seen as much compassion and kindness from the temples in a long time.
I mean, yeah, the whole, like, miss type stuff was new. I don't know. Have you seen anything like that before? Because I don't really know what that was. that was just kind of a thing.
Are you trying to tell me that you don't want me to tell anyone? I would be happy to keep your secret.
Yeah, that'd be great for now until I figure out what that was. Because I don't think I can do it again.
I think you know what it was.
Do I?
I think you do. You just don't want me to spread it around. That is what happens with a true healer. You are humble. I can see it. I see it in you. Lay your hands on him, and I will bet that you heal him. He points to one of the bandaged up little boys over there.
Okay, I hand out.
Do you cast Cure Wounds or anything?
I'm gonna wait and see if anything happens first. Give it like 4 or 5 seconds, and then if nothing happens, I'll just cast Cure Wounds.
Nothing happens until you cast Cure Wounds.
Okay.
When you cast Cure Wounds, the light does the same thing it did before, and the smoky, white, yellowish light goes out and heals up the rest of the people in the infirmary. As the smoke passes through the guy that you're talking to, he kind of goes, peace. He says, you have been chosen. I can feel it. You might not know it yet, but look what you've done. You've cured everyone in here. These people and their families will follow you anywhere.
I don't like that. Yeah,
I'm just imagining those scenes in the movies where like holy chorus happens behind as like the thing spreads.
Oh,
and the look of the protagonist there, like, what the fuck is going on?
Meanwhile, I'm picturing the life of Brian when he's trying to convince everybody that he is not the Messiah.
oh boy.
Of course.
Okay. Yeah, well, I say this kind of loudly. I would appreciate it if you just kind of kept this on the down low for now. And everyone can stay here. Nobody needs to follow me.
I will encourage them not to, but I can't guarantee once they tell their parents and once they tell their spouses.
Well, okay. Thanks. And I'm gonna...
Wait! What is your name? What is your name?
Rayla.
Rayla the Wise. Thank you so much, Rayla. I will keep your secret. I promise.
I bolt. Oh, my mom's gonna be so mad at me.
Okay. Now what? Now what are you doing?
I'm gonna head down to the docks and check on our boat.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna try and see where we docked our boat and see if it's okay, see if our crew's okay, if anybody's down there. And...
That's a good question. The crew. Well, you know that the boat is okay because Otto flew over before and told you that everything was fine. But why can't I find the die? There we go. About 40% of the crew is out helping get materials out of the ocean and try to help repair the docks and all that stuff. So they're not on the ship, but they're the ones that are on the ship said, "Oh, they're fine," and they volunteered to help. So
Okay.
So let's while you and Marcel decide what you're going to do next, let's go back to Axley and Khonnos.
Okay. Where's the queens in the room?
They have not come in yet because
Oh.
they're still taking the procession. I mean, it's only been a few minutes.
The big shield robot things you talked about, are those in here or are those with the queens?
They're in the throne room.
Is that where we are? Are we in the throne room?
No, you're in the ball.
Oh, okay.
So you're in the ballroom. So yeah, you went through the procession, and then they sort of take you into the room next door, which is a much larger, more open room. The throne room is really just a room where some people can gather and you can have audience with the queens. So it's not really big enough for a full-on ball, especially with, all the fancy gowns and all that stuff are really huge. And so, yeah. But after about 10 or 15 minutes, everybody keeps filing into that room, and then the herald comes out and presents, they do the whole, blowing the horns, and they present to you the queens of Calport, Queen Delincia and Queen Rimethus, and they sort of enter, and some musicians come in behind them and they start playing music, and the queens dance, and sort of people make a open circle around them so that they're not bumping into them or whatnot. And then after they dance one dance, then they sort of, everybody claps. Of course, you have to clap for the queen when she's dancing, right? And then they sort of, they sort of disperse from the dance floor. And so now they're sort of standing and talking to people. And then the musicians cue up another song and play a different song. And so some people are dancing, and now everybody's rummaging around, and yeah.
Okay. Do they work their way in our direction at all as they're talking to people?
Well, you're in the corner, so they danced, and then they sort of went to the northern part of the room, so they're not that far from you, maybe 20 or 30 feet, but they're not like right next to you.
I'm going to try to be motioning, like waving to them, try to get their attention.
Okay, let me roll a die here. So one of the queens notices you, but sort of turns away, and does not acknowledge that she noticed you.
Okay. All right. Get those dishes ready, Khonnos. I think we're gonna delight in the surprise that they're about to bring to the festivities. And I'm gonna do a little flourish of excitement. Oh, clumsy me! And I'm going to throw all of the dishes and treats all over the guy in the corner.
All right. So all of the goop goes on him, and makes part of him, like, he's not visible, but the goop sort of outlines a previously invisible individual who then runs. So what you see is goop running to get out.
Can we trip him?
You can try.
Can I try to grab him when I see the outline?
Sure, you can roll me a strength check.
All right. Natural 20.
Oh, nice.
You definitely grab him, and he's trying to run away. But
why are you leaving so early? This party just got started.
Let me go! Let me go!
Any place in particular you have to go, or someone that you need to see, or someone that needs to see you?
Just let me go!
I'd rather not.
He sort of just falls to the ground. So you're kind of holding onto his arm, and he just collapses and falls to the ground.
I got him.
All right. I think we need to call the attention of the authorities. I seem to recall something about not being able to cast spells like this in public.
Yeah, or did you just get the best deal on the best tux in town?
He doesn't say anything. Now that you've kind of grabbed him and heard his voice, you realize he's kind of a young person. He's probably 13, 14.
Is he wearing something?
Yeah, he's well, he's still invisible. Right.
So is there any indication what the source of the invisibility is? Is it like a spell aura around him, or does he seem to have any kind of like a cloak or
you can't tell
something?
at this point. The only thing is Khonnos has his arm on him, so he feels him, but you technically can't see him. What you see is the goopy stuff on top of him, and let me see if anybody else. Yeah, and so you're starting to get noticed by the other partygoers around, and so they're kind of turning toward you.
I'll try to reach and see if I can feel anything over him, like a cloak or something. That
nope. Did you touch his hair?
Just his hair.
You
and
feel
skin.
it, but you don't see it. And now you have goop on your hand.
I'll smear it more on him so that it covers more of the invisibility.
He goes, "Oh, stop!" And as he shakes his head, he sort of hits your arm and hand, and it makes him become visible.
So it's like a spell.
He's wearing like a squire uniform, like basically a messenger kind of uniform, right? This is a person who is working in the court. He's a young person. He's probably not from nobility, because a person from nobility who was 13 or 14 would be actually a guest at the ball. He's more of a, like, probably from a lower class family who has been conscripted or hired, or maybe he's an indentured servant, but he is wearing clothing that is that indicates he is a member of the royal hall. So he is an employee of the royal hall of some sort. Whether he gets paid or is an indentured servant is a question.
So he's like a page, dressed like a page.
He's like a page, yeah. But a page, even a page, might be just a young member of a noble house who will eventually rise in stature, and this kid is not.
Right. He seems to be a bit of a pawn in this game. Do we want to just release him, or do we want to try to? Without spells, it's going to be very difficult to find out who he's working for.
I will.
So you get to do one more thing before sort of everybody will be like noticing and coming around and asking you what's going on. So.
All right. I will think to him, telepathy, like, tell me why you were following us and why you were invisible. And I won't cause us any more.
He's completely shocked. Like, you see him, like, look around, like he does not sure where that, like, obviously he heard you, but, like.
Yes, that was me. Shush. But swear.
He's just wide-eyed.
Right. I've done my one thing.
Well,
Axley?
I think that, yeah, at this point, we're either going to cause a scene with him or just let him retreat. I think we can assume who sent him.
All right.
It's pretty obvious.
All right. I'll let him go.
Okay.
Oh, go clean yourself up, boy, you clumsy oaf. You've spilled all of my food.
He runs off. Right as he's running out the door, the horns blow a tune, and the herald introduces Tullus, the abbot of Straben, the vanquisher of dragons, the savior of Calport, the wielder of divine might. And he comes through, and the two acolytes that were at that other set of doors, they open the doors, and he comes through, and he's wearing his fanciest vestments, his regala wear is like, these are the high value, high dollar, this is like the best of the best. It's got inlaid gold, and there's like platinum coins sewn into the collars, and it's just like obviously a show of wealth and power. And he's beaming, he's smiling really bright, and he's got his arms kind of out, and he's tended by a couple of people behind him that are holding up the bottom of the robes, so it doesn't touch the ground, and his arms, they have a long, like, trailing piece coming off of the forearm, and there are two assistants, like one on each side, holding that up so it doesn't brush the ground. And he's walking, and there's a person sort of in front of him, sort of sweeping the floor before he walks through. And it's a total show of, here is, the most holy of holies.
Wow.
Emmeryn,
so glad Em is not there.
Nina
I'm
is
so
flipping
glad
off
she's
the
not
camera.
I'm so glad she's not there.
And the when he comes in, like, pretty much everybody bows. They don't go on one knee because you only do that to the queens, but they bow as low as they can bow. And even the two queens sort of turn and do kind of a partial curtsy kind of thing. Like, it's more of a respect thing than a we're bowing to you, but still everyone else sort of very deeply bows, and until he says, arise, they'll stay bowed. So the question is, do you bow?
Just slightly.
I don't bow because no one will notice because of my height.
Okay, so let's go back to Emmeryn and Marcel real quick. What are you two doing?
Well, I guess we meet up when she goes to see the ship, and I'm like, well, I hope your rescue efforts went better than mine. No one needed my help.
You're muted.
There?
Now I can hear
Okay?
you. Yep.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, about that. When you get up to Emmeryn, she's like rummaging through her sack. I'm actually gonna. You said about 40% of our crew's here?
The 40% is helping. The other
Like,
60% is on the ship.
40% is helping. Okay. Here, and I hand her a couple of little satchels. I divvied up 150 gold worth of my diamond dust into little pouch, like 10 gold piece pouches, and we have 15 crew, so I give a couple to Marcel. I'm like, go give these to the crew. I'm gonna give this
Now?
to the people that are helping. Yes, because they're helping, and they just probably witnessed the dragon, and like, we gotta do something.
It still feels like an odd
You go on the
moment to go pay them.
No, but like, we haven't done it, and is it gonna get done? We get dragons, we got earthquakes, something really weird just happened that I need to talk to you about. So
Also, like, there's just been a lot of talk about a gambling den. I feel like they're just going to gamble it away in one night.
it might.
Okay. All right. Well, I mean, you're the captain. You wanna give money to them now? I guess we can do this.
Thanks. I just kind of meekly walk away. What?
Are you okay?
I don't know what just happened.
What happened?
I don't know. I literally cast a spell, and like more than half of the people were just like magically cured. Like this weird golden white like light mist kind of
Wait,
floated
gold light?
around, and yeah, and then they were all like magically cured, and then I went to heal another boy and the rest of them were cured. And I like cast 2 spells, and that was like a lot of people.
Wow, they're
And
gonna be
now
calling you
they're all,
Saint
like-
Emmeryn tomorrow. Okay.
I don't know. I don't like it.
I'm starting to think maybe I shouldn't cast any spells in this city.
I know. I
You don't
feel
think
weird. Like,
You don't think it's like the city that just like amplifies spells somehow?
I don't know if it's because don't know.
I mean, that could be an option. It's either that or you're turning into some chosen one and it's going to save everyone, which I think feels a bit like story. I don't
Yeah,
know.
that feels weird. That feels like
Yeah.
one of the main characters.
God,
Um,
I am so tempted to go outside right now and see if dancing lights does something special and like illuminates the whole harbor. Here, let me help you with some lights. Daylight.
Daylight.
That's never done that before.
Supernova occurs.
Yeah, okay. I'll just go hand out some gold dust. Why not?
Yeah,
Diamond dust, whatever.
Yeah, I'm gonna hand it out to the people that are like helping, and like, I'm really sorry that we haven't paid you yet. This should cover at least some of it. You'll have to like sell it and get the gold because we don't have the gold right now, but we really appreciate your help and you've done a really good job. And I'm just gonna like give that spiel to like everybody as I hand it out.
Okay, as Emmeryn leaves, I get this sudden very bad idea. So while I'm in the ship, so that no one can see me casting, basically, because there's still a casting component to it. I'm gonna send a message out to like one of the ones I know that are like usually with a bunch of the people in there, and they're used to us like sending messages back and forth to communicate. So I'm going to send them a message of like, hey, so it's payday, and I'm in like the captain's quarters, so maybe tell everyone to come over here to get paid. But I want to like have in my mind sending that message to all the crew.
Okay. So no one in particular, just the entire crew?
No, I'm like, because the message is only to one person, right? But I kind of want to test out what happened with Emmeryn's like magic. So I'm sending it to the one person that I know tends to be like where the others join. Like that's the one I'm targeting.
Okay. And you went to the captain's room to send this message?
Yeah, I went inside the captain's room because it's got...
And Emmeryn, where are you?
I was out along the docks, like passing out the diamond dust to the people
You're on
that
the
were
docks,
helping.
passing it to helpers. You're not on the ship.
I'm not on the ship currently, no.
A few minutes later, somebody knocks at the door of the captain's cabin, Marcel.
Okay. Come in?
Yes, you said it was payday?
Yeah. Just tell the others?
I told them all, yeah, they're on their way.
Okay, good. I give him his money.
Okay. Thanks. Thanks. How much is it?
It's 10 gold.
Is there a bonus?
It's 10 gold.
Oh.
Don't spend it all gambling.
Oh, thanks. 10 gold. Okay. All right. Thank you.
Don't go spending it all at once.
He doesn't acknowledge. He's
gone. The was made.
You did double check and see if that was one of the actual sailors, right?
I mean, it's the guy
you
told
recognized.
Yeah, message.
Okay.
Yeah,
that was
so
that was the harpoonist that you personally chose to.
Yeah.
Remember you gave the one magic item to the harpoonist that turns into that's who it was.
Yeah, I mean, I sent the message to someone I knew I could trust, aka one of the people who are like high up in the crew. All right, and I'll stay there and wait for the others to come.
So they sort of trickle in, and you hear them. Oh yeah, I heard from so and so that it's Oh yeah, so and so said to.
So it was just that person that got the message. Okay.
Correct.
Good. Safe attempt at to testing out magic in the city. Great, worked perfectly. Emmeryn, I'm sorry to say you are now the protagonist.
No, Rayla is.
I mean,
yeah, that's yep.
She's like, she's gonna be surprised.
You heard of the tale of Saint Rayla?
Okay, so Khonnos and Axley, you are now in a room where everyone is finishing their bow to Tullus, the vanquisher of dragons, who has bid everyone rise, and he gives a It's very short, considering what you thought he was going to say. He gives a relatively short statement about, thank you all for being here and for coming together in the worship of our of our most powerful deity Straben, and understand that while he puts his power onto the common plateau through me, he is the source of all that is good, and if it weren't for the belief of everyone here and of everyone in Calport, then he would not do such wonderful things for us, and he would not do them through me. And so I thank you all
how far
for
away
your
is he from
belief. He's probably 100 feet away from you.
100. Can we start moving forward to get closer?
Sure, yeah, you can get as close as you want.
Okay.
About how
And so
many
that's
people-
basically it. He just says, thank you to everybody, and please eat and be merry and dance and have pleasure in the glory of Straben. That's kind of the BS that he's slinging. What were you saying?
Okay.
Yeah.
I was just asking about how many people are here altogether, roughly.
Probably 150 people. I mean, there's quite a few. They're kind of packed in now. I mean, it's everybody sort of, when the queens came in, then all of the guards and everything came in too. Right. So it's not just the partygoers, but also their entourage.
Okay.
And plus Tullis's new entourage, because he's got the 5 people just dealing with his clothing, plus his other servants getting him food, and
probably 2 guys on stilts keeping the giant pope hat from
falling.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he's totally he's decked out. It's pretty, and when he sits, they have a big fan thing, and it's all about trying to make him comfortable. Yeah.
I mean, if he was wearing a robe that's just covered with platinum, I'm surprised if he can even walk in that thing.
Well, that's part of the reason why they're having to hold up the pieces to because I mean it's really it's basically chainmail made of platinum coins, on a white tunic background. It's
Probably the kind of thing that's meant to step 2 things out onto a podium, speak, and then 2 steps back.
Yeah. Or just sit and speak, and then everyone leaves, and then you take it off before you actually get up and move, right? Yeah, it's definitely for show and not for Yeah.
Well, before he starts his diatribe to the sages, do you want to try to have words with the queens?
Sure. I just got the meanest idea to do something. I can't cast magic here.
Do it anyway.
Well, I mean, so, right, I guess it depends on if you consider inside a building as being in public, right? Or is the Royal Hall a public place, or is it a private place, right?
As far as I'm concerned, if we're in the presence of royalty, that's not kosher. So.
Yeah, okay. It's up to you.
plus, I asked about the number of people for a reason, and it's much more than I could do anything with at this point. So. Let's go.
Oh, what's the limit on that?
12.
Oh, yeah.
I believe 12. Let's look for sure. Yep, up to 12.
Yeah. Yeah, there were already more than that in there when you entered. There were more.
Right. Plus, the second you said there were constructs, I'm like, well, that plan's going out the window.
Oh, so those were in the throne room, though, right?
Right.
So
yeah.
They're not actually in the ballroom with you. Only the guards came with the queens. Her elite guard always goes with them.
For podcast listeners, I'm talking about mass suggestion.
Yes.
Do you want to talk to the queen? Do you think she's going to be helpful?
I think talking to the queens would be less likely to cause a scene and get us thrown out of here. If we were to just confront him directly, I think that would go south very quickly.
Oh, I think. Well, I think when he starts his regaling of all of his glory to the scribes who are going to be taking it all down, and he's going to have an audience. Mm-hmm. I think that would be a perfect perfect
that-
place to
that
suggest that he absolve himself of all of his sins, starting with the dragon incident.
So that won't be at this ball. That'll be a separate. That would be he wouldn't do that at the ball because it's going to take hours for the scribes to write down. Yeah, all that stuff.
That's a good idea. Yeah, but in the meantime, at least I think if we're going to talk to the queen, at least say, hey, yes, it's so great that he did his thing and that Straben was helpful. But hey, guess what? There's another god that's helping you out too. And then we can deal with Mr. Abbott later on, more directly.
So do you want to talk to the queens then? Is that what you're saying?
Or do you want to wait for?
Well, they're here. It's an opportunity. At least we can maybe see what they're thinking.
Okay. Yeah, let's at least get a read on them first.
Yeah, so let's make our way over to where they are.
Okay. So they nod at you.
Your Highness, we wanted to again express our relief that none of you or your household was injured during the dragon attack. And of course it's very good that Straben lended his aid to the city in this dire hour. But I also wanted to let you know that Straben had some help as well. We believe that there was another great god also watching over your city in this time. You may recall when we first visited you that Emmeryn is a cleric. We said that our comrade Emmeryn is a cleric of Goras, and in fact, when we emerged from the library, she and her mother also offered up their prayers to their god, and we believe that he also lended aid to your city as well in getting rid of the dragon.
We witnessed her divine intervention directly in front of us, resulting in exactly everything that transpired with the dragon being cast into the sea. And note, it's a little interesting that up to this point, Straben hasn't been able to intervene successfully on multiple attacks of the dragon before we arrived.
Are you saying that you are responsible for casting the dragon into the sea?
Yes.
We're saying it at the very...
I'm glad you're reading us here, Your Majesty.
At the very least, Goras offered at least as much aid.
What proof do you have of this?
What proof does your abbot have of this?
It's
easy to make a claim.
That he told us before he began that he was casting a ritual to try to cause Straben to intervene on the behalf of the good people of Calport. So we knew he was doing that. And then it happened.
Wasn't he doing this ritual on previous attacks as well?
Sure.
I'm just saying, you should expect the same result if you cast the same thing over and over.
Well, then I wouldn't have had much faith in him, because it never worked before, but now it has. I would have been foolish to not have that faith in him, because you see it worked this time.
Yes, it worked this time. But I'm saying it's not him that was casting the ritual.
And I'm asking you for proof.
How can we provide this proof?
I don't know. But you are having the temerity to come and tell us.
If you may have heard that Rayla, Emmeryn's mother, is lying comatose still. The effort of her risking her own life and invoking such power placed a great deal of strain upon her. And
at that point, you hear a voice. Pardon me, Your Majesties. I hate to interrupt, but did you say Rayla, sir?
Yes.
Your Majesty, and he whispers something into her ear.
Fast.
And the Queen says, "Oh, I see. I'm not sure how your Rayla could be laying comatose. in her room if she is out healing the people of the city.
She is a healer. Perhaps she was able to recover quickly. That would not be so out of sorts.
Praise Goros.
But as to getting to the truth, well, there are ways to compel individuals to tell the truth. And we wouldn't want to break any of your laws overtly, but maybe with permission, we could find a way to get to the bottom of this.
Yes, if you doubt if I'm speaking the truth, I'm willing to be examined magically to prove I'm not lying about what I saw.
The rumors of the deeds of Rayla have reached the court. And that is enough to convince me that there is some question about the veracity of the deeds of Tullus. I'm not quite convinced that it is not yet a hoax, though, so perhaps we shall use another means of determining the truthfulness or serpent-tongued.
And no, Your Majesty, we would freely give you permission to use any of those means to get to the bottom of the truth. I don't know if Tullus would be so inclined.
Tullus can be compelled.
Whereas we are volunteering freely.
I assure you that Tullus will also volunteer freely for such a trial.
And Your Majesty, is overt acts of invisibility spells in public to spy on people a violation of your sacred city's laws?
Who has done such a thing?
A young page wearing, I guess, what was he wearing? He was wearing the...
Just like a member of the
court's emblems.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, followed my companion and I into the ballroom and lurked behind us while invisible.
Can only assume that somebody put him up to it. I'm sure he wasn't trying to cause trouble himself, but...
My guards will look into it.
I can describe him. He was a very young, naive boy.
That describes a lot of people in Canada. So I need a persuasion from both of you.
Maybe it'd be someone who knows Tullus well, or Tullus has in his charge that young page.
Are you accusing Tullus of forcefully, knowingly breaking the rules?
Well, someone has broken the rules. I don't know who it would be.
But are you accusing Tullus of such a thing?
Oh, I don't have proof that it was him that put the boy up to it, but I suspect that if indeed he's weaving this falsehood, he has desire to see us as foes and spy on us.
So roll me a persuasion checks.
Persuasion. I got +8 persuasion, and I rolled a 19.
15 for me.
Okay. We will for sure look into this issue. Perhaps you and your group would come to an audience in the morning, and we will see if Tullus and you can come to a agreement about what has transpired here to vanquish the dragon.
We welcome that, and if indeed he did have a hand in it, then we would most assuredly grant him whatever deserved credit. I just have extreme doubts.
Perhaps you should not voice those doubts so vocally yet.
As you wish.
That is most wise.
Very well. I shall take your leave. And they nod to you, and both of them turn.
Your Majesticai.
Your highness is your heinies, something like that.
Your heinies. Oh my god. Okay, so anything else you would like to do, Emmeryn and Marcel?
I think once we pay the crew, I am going to suggest to Emmeryn that we go back to the palace, and maybe you should tell me exactly what happened, or wait until we get to the rest of the party and tell everyone what happened, just so we're on the same page. Because I did test some magic and nothing happened. So it's just you.
Cool. Yeah.
No one
Okay.
knows I did it. Don't worry about it.
I mean, that's like not even on the top 10 list of things I'm worried about right now.
So you healed a bunch of people. I'm sure that rose some eyebrows.
I mean, there were a lot of stares. Nobody like protested because obviously I wasn't doing anything like bad.
Oh, why would anyone protest? How dare you save my life? How dare? But you didn't like tell them your name or.
No, I told them my mom's name.
Oh, that's worse. Okay.
I know. I panicked. I was like trying to think of a different name, and all that was coming to my head was Rayla, because my mom is lying comatose in the palace, and I'm just.
I mean, thinking up a name on the spot is pretty hard.
And like this weird shit just happened, and I was a little just like mentally not.
Use your name. I think spreading the word that you're the savior of the city isn't that bad for our total our future agenda. But okay, so now your mom is going to be the saint of the Calport.
I mean, yeah.
Isn't your mom comatose still?
She is.
Well, you've been out of the thing for a couple hours now, so
I know. Maybe she's not. I hope not.
I mean,
I should go check.
Yeah, your mom's gonna be so happy to hear.
Right.
Especially if word gets back to the palace about what you did. Surely word doesn't travel that fast.
Word doesn't travel that fast, you know? Like.
Make her way back to the palace.
So, Khonnos, I think that went as well as we could expect. I think we should just enjoy the party until our friends get back. I'd like to actually eat some of that wonderful food now that I disposed of it. You know, I have to say, that's the first time I've ever substituted a cherry tart in the place of a fairy fire spell.
that was brilliant.
Yeah, I mean, you can stay as long as you want there and eat. As after the queen spoke to you, they left pretty soon after, a couple 2-3 minutes. They said hello to some prominent members of some royal families, and then they took their leave. And Tullus is still moving around, and every time he goes to a new group, he's getting praised up and down. And of course, he's not going to leave that anytime soon because he loves that. So,
I would like to, as he's going around and bragging about himself, I would like to try to essentially mingle and blend into the crowd, and be within like 30 feet. So I guess I'm trying to essentially hide among all the party guests. And if I'm able to do so and it doesn't look like he is aware of me, I'm going to wait to try to use my telepathy and just say to him, he's going to recognize my voice. Fuck.
The what?
So here's my question. Like, if with the telepathy we drive, can I make the voice sound different than my own, or does it sound like my own?
It's not ventriloquism, right?
No, I don't believe it is. Let's see.
I mean,
it says it just says you can telepathically speak to any creature you can see within 30 feet of you. You don't need to share a language with the creature for it to understand your telepathic utterances, but the creature must be able to understand at least one language. So I would assume that means I can't change the way my voice would sound, because what I would want to do is basically say, like, try to use it as basically plant some seeds of doubt and say, hey, are you sure this party is all really for you? Are you sure you don't have somebody else you should be thanking? But he's like, if I can't control how that's going to sound, I don't want to give away that I'm doing that.
Yeah.
They all know you're a fraud.
What's the range? What's the range on your telepathy?
30 feet. 30 feet.
I mean, you can try to stealth and do it, and if he doesn't see you, then he's not he won't be able to.
I'm gonna, I'm not at a gambling party, but I'm still feeling lucky. I'm gonna go for it.
Okay, roll me a stealth. Now I have
19.
to. Okay, I have to get his card out to find out what his stat is. So.
This is what I was gonna try to do during the whole shark face duel. Essentially, like psychically taunt him.
So I rolled a 14. What did you roll?
I got a 19.
Okay. So what are you saying to him?
Yeah, this. You're not the only one who should be celebrated, and you know it.
You see him kind of pause, and it's pretty obvious that he heard the words that you intended him to hear.
Mm-hmm.
And then you notice that as people are, kissing his ring and praising him, he starts saying, but it is not only I, it is the glorious power of Straben that has saved us, and that's what he starts making sure that he says to everyone.
It wasn't just Straben, and you know it. Don't think you can take all the credit.
After you say that, and he says to another couple of people, he says, I'm quite tired. Perhaps it's time to turn in. And he tells his assistants to, help him as he gets up, and he pretty quickly leaves the room.
Don't you feel like you have to go to the bathroom in that thing? Badly. That was the real beat thing.
You put in his mind the sounds of a running waterfall.
So Marcel and Emmeryn, are you going back to the Royal Hall then?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I would assume that you're all meeting back in together. But when you all get to the room, you see that Rayla is awake.
Ah.
That's good.
And as soon
good to
as she
see you.
sees you, Emmeryn, she stands up and she runs and she hugs you. And she says, I can hear her again. And it's because of you I can hear her again. She spoke to me when we prayed and we made the dragon go away, and it was because of you, and now have her flowing through me, and it's glorious again. I need to speak to your father, and I'm me again. I'm me. And she just
Who is her?
hugs you.
Who is the her that you hear?
It's her mom, Rayla. Oh, so she's talking about Goros.
Oh.
I just hug her back for like a really long time. And oh god, she's so mad. Oh boy.
Planning to do.
So Dad is in like that quarantine place right now. I don't know if we can get in.
We need to get them out.
Yeah, we're working on it. And I'm assuming we left the book open in the room with Rayla.
Well, you had it wrapped up in Axley's cloak, remember?
Yeah.
So I'm assuming it's still wrapped up. I don't think you wanted your mom to see the writhing pages.
Probably not. But yeah, we're working on a cure to get them out of quarantine. The dragon's gone.
Did you tell us everything that happened? Did we share everything that happened? And or do you want us
I was going to, but my mom's awake now.
But she looks like she looked before.
Yeah.
Everything happened, right? After you rescued her from Laralax, she was kind of just a shell of herself, and for the first time, she is your mom, like 100%.
Okay. Give me a second, and I'm going to cast Sending to my dad.
Okay.
at 4th level because I'm running out of spell slots. Hi, Dad. I hope you're okay. The dragon's gone. Mom and I are fine. Working on getting you out. And that's all.
Now, does he get to talk back to you?
Mm-hmm.
He says, he says, hold on, I gotta find a name. Did I write down the name? That's what I get for stacking my stuff again. He says, Pestrianus is making sure that everyone is okay, but I'm afraid they're going to come lock down the quarantine again.
So it's open currently?
Yeah, because, I mean, the big tidal wave
the attack.
basically, and the attack,
Yeah. Do we want to get him out? Or would that be bad?
I mean, the book supposedly has the way, right? You just have to translate.
Well, I think we have an opportunity with the queens willing to hear us. If we can successfully get them on our side, then we will be able to get them out, right? Or we'll get more of an opportunity to have free access to them.
Well, I think that's the way we gain access to the queens, is to gain access to them, is to cure them and say, hey, look what we did. Your city is safe from this plague. And then that'll gain us favor, right? So I feel like it's more of an opportunity if they just stay.
Yeah, I
Plus,
wouldn't try to break them out or anything.
Yeah.
Especially considering what happened tonight.
Right.
What happened tonight?
Give me a minute. I'm casting another sending. Yeah. That's okay. Just stay in quarantine for now. We're close to finding a cure. You'll be out soon.
He says, okay, I'll make sure we all wait in the same place and tell your mother I love her.
Relay that. So, Mom, are you feeling okay? Do you need to rest still? Are you...
I feel better than I felt since this one over here rescued me, and she points at Axley.
You seem like almost a new woman. It's wonderful. Your recovery is...
I'm free. Somehow it broke. The fuzziness is gone. I always felt somehow detached and fuzzy, and I couldn't remember things, and now I remember everything.
When did you, if you don't mind me asking, when did you wake up?
Just a few minutes ago. 45, maybe an hour.
Okay. And you haven't left the palace since you woke up, right?
I haven't left the room. I wasn't sure where you all were.
Huh.
Why?
Okay.
Why do you ask?
Well, when we were now say I'm wrong with the giggle feds. I heard this. We heard the strangest story, the strangest tale at this party that they were having earlier. Apparently, you or someone else with your name was out in the city healing people earlier today after the dragon attack.
She looks directly at Emmeryn.
Yeah. The queen herself was told.
I'm just like halfway through drinking a glass of water. I just spit it all out.
Oh God.
The queen herself said I was out
Yes.
healing people.
Oh God.
I wasn't out healing people, Emmeryn.
I'm coughing and choking of her laughter.
Oh my God.
This is what
I'm just like nervously stroking socks, like.
Yeah, the other two that were in the room that normally comfort your mom, they're like running around your legs, and one of them is trying to like jump up on your shoulder, and
Apparently,
There's
two
an
Raylas
aura
are better
of
than one.
stress. I mean, okay, so weird things happened. We were just trying to help, and like, I got curing spells, so I was like, all right, I'll cure like the worst of it. And like, I cast one spell on one person, and this weird like yellow white mist like kind of just floated around and healed like over half of them. And then I cast it again and it healed the rest of them. And there was like a lot of people there. And then they asked my name and I kind of panicked and I just said it was Rayla because I was trying to think of a different name because I didn't really want all these people following me around and it was just weird and I didn't like it. I'm really sorry, Mom.
Well,
why did you lie? Are you ashamed of your powers?
I mean, no, but these people were treating me like some kind of like
Saint?
a saint, and it was stressful. I didn't like all the people staring at me, and like this guy was like, "Oh, you're the chosen one," and these people would follow you anywhere, and it stressed me out.
So you
Maybe
gave
we
them
should-
my name?
You're better at that, right?
I
Now
don't
we should just
know.
maybe we should try out these new healing powers. Maybe you should try seeing if you can cure some of the quarantined people.
That concerns me just because the last time I did that, some of them died. So like
Yeah.
if that happens again, I try and cure one person and it cures like 30, and all it does is kill them, I'm killing 30 people.
She has
I
a
mean,
point.
I'm not like
Not to mention,
like-
even if one of them dies, a lot of people are going to be paying attention now that they've heard the
Right.
tale.
right. They're
Well,
not like
you and your mother seem to have some pretty incredible powers together combined. What if you both attempted to heal?
I think we need to decipher the book first and make sure
think
that
if
we're
we-
on the right track.
yeah, even if we just decipher like the majority of it and get the gist of it, we might be able to piece it together after that. But we need to.
Because there is a chance.
I feel like we need to do this right now.
There is a chance the book's response is your growing powers are going to save
Right.
them now. But if we don't have proof, then you're, well, putting a lot of faith in your powers.
Yeah.
And I don't
Yeah.
think we're in a position where we can afford to mess up
Can't
right
mess
now.
up. Can't mess up. And the proof was long enough that it makes me think that it's not going to just be like, oh, go cure them. Like, your growing power is going to be good enough to do it in like 3 days.
I mean, it's
don't
6 pages, so it's by far the shortest one that you've.
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay, so we work out the proofs,
Mhm.
contents.
Yeah, I
You-
think that's our
You
best bet.
realize that by tomorrow morning, the whole city's going to be talking about Saint Rayla.
He called her Rayla the Wise.
Rayla the Wise, because apparently they don't like saints. Everyone, that's going to be the main news of the city. I mean, it works in our favor slightly.
I mean,
But
Kayla and I
how
look
did
similar,
you
but-
how did you know about it? She turns to Khonnos.
Khonnos is now feeling very awkward and embarrassed. I just like I said, when we were at this party earlier, we mentioned what happened to the queens, like we talked about.
Mhm.
But when we said that, we said that you were, had the effort had, not rendered you unconscious. We gave them your name, and then that's when an attendant came up and apparently said that there were rumors going about the city. We didn't really get to hear much about it at the time.
So the queens already know about what happened in the city. Wow, that's faster than I expected.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but
Let's hope
good.
they're super lax on the casting thing.
Also good news. Seems like we were able to at least plant enough of a doubt in their minds about Abbott we don't like, and they're willing to put the whole thing to the test tomorrow as well.
So
But we need to be on our guard because I think he's on to us. He had an invisible spy following us through the proceeding.
So you're telling me tomorrow morning we have to go and talk to the queens again?
Maybe not right away, but at some point.
And Rayla will probably have to come with.
You up to that?
I am, but I won't lie.
No, I don't think we should.
I mean, yeah, it's Rayla and I look similar, but we like Emmeryn is a slighter build with long, like white hair, and Rayla is taller, thin, but with like shorter blonde hair. And they're gonna know if they get a description of me, they're gonna know it's not her and that it's.
I mean, I think honesty is our best bet in that case.
I
Just
mean, yeah.
tell the queens you panicked and you were thinking about your mother and that it was actually you and not your mother. I mean, my plan seems to be working out. We have the people on our side, even if they have the wrong name, and that's going to get us some clout with the queen. I just didn't expect it to be this way.
Dude, trust me, I don't know what's happening. The other thing I'm worried about is they're going to ask me to perform a miracle and it's not going to work. Like, is this a one-time deal? Is this just because, like, we did that thing with the dragon and, like, my powers are amplified for, like, 24 hours, so it's going to give way in, like, the morning and it's not going to happen?
That's not how miracles work. I think expecting miracles to happen at the drop of a hat is... I mean, that's...
Really it's unreasonable. And I guess if we zone of truth, they'll know that, yeah, and there were... God knows there was enough witnesses.
Yeah.
I think we just have to wait and see what the queens have in mind. They clearly know that the truth has to be obtained, and I'm sure they have ways of pursuing that.
I did hear one account of someone saying that the base of the hand of the water was golden in color.
Interesting.
But it was only one person, and he's a rat folk, and apparently people don't really like rat folk around here.
Why not? Kind of the best.
They are. They're pretty cool. They're also the trashmen.
Trashmen are important.
They are. They're very important. But, you know, nobles and people don't really get it.
Yeah.
Not until they go on strike and stop picking up all the trash, and then everyone gets sick and dies.
And putting all the fires out.
So it's getting on to 10 o'clock here. I mean, in real life, not in the game time. In game time, it's about 8 or 9 p.m., which means if you want to translate, if you want to have Axley translate the pages, that's going to be or transcribe the pages, that's going to be 6 hours.
All-nighter.
So it's going to be a 3 a.m. finish job.
I was going to say, I think last time both Axley and Emmeryn transcribed, and it took half the time.
Well, that was... Yeah, so you can do that again. So that's 3 hours. So that'll put you at midnight. And then you have to kind of decode what's happening. Sorry, what was that?
I would say Khonnos can help with either the copying or the translating as well.
Yeah.
If it's just, well, I mean, copying down does help with the translation. So I'm not particularly intelligent or wise. So I'm not sure how much help I can be.
So, Axley and Emmeryn, roll me an intelligence saving throw.
Intelligence.
Okay.
Ooh, I got a 7, which...
Okay.
Are there any modifiers to that?
It's your save, so it depends on if you're proficient
intelligence.
in that save.
No, I'm not. +0, so I got a 7.
Well, that's... +0 is your modifier, but up above that, there's a saving throw section. So you might be proficient in it, so... In that case, you would add your proficiency, but if not...
No, I don't have any.
Okay, so you got a 7. Yeah. What did you get, Emmeryn?
Yeah.
17.
Okay. So you transcribe everything with no problem. And actually, as you're doing it, you can tell that it's a relatively easy one. Actually, it's pretty straightforward. It's the first 4.5 pages are a historical account. And you could tell this as you're transcribing. You're like, oh, this is really... Emmeryn is also kind of like, wow, this one's easy. How come it took us so long for the last one? Like, geez, actually, like did we get smarter or something? Like, I don't know what's happening. But so it's the first 4.5 pages of the 6 pages are a historical view of creating a particular spell, and then the last page and a half is the magical sort of ideas that go into the casting of that spell, and then so I will tell you the spell, and then we will end. So basically the book says, remember the question was the question that you wrote was I marked the page.
There's a way to remove the affliction from Lucanius, leaving him alive and healthy.
Yep, plaguing Lucanius. You used the word plaguing. Yes. And the response was, this is a true statement, and it was a 6-page proof. So 4.5 pages is a historic record of the production and research of this particular spell, and the last page and a half is talking about how the spell is used, but it's not the spell. Okay, so this isn't a spell scroll that you're looking at, but basically it says use this spell and it will cure those that are afflicted with whatever it is that Lucanius has. And the spell, revivify.
Cool.
What is that? I'm not familiar.
Revivify.
So basically come back to life, and it costs a lot.
Isn't
that a 9th level spell?
No, it's a 3rd level spell.
Oh.
Is it a 300 gold diamond?
I think it's 300 gold.
But what kind of magic is it?
Where is it?
Necromancy.
Oh.
Bingo.
Necromancy, and we would need diamonds worth 300 gold for each time we use it.
Fascinating. It's funny because I was actually going to look for diamonds for this specific spell.
Well, I mean, the queen, I'm sure, can easily get a hold of diamonds worth 300 gold. She probably has them under her pillow.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, yeah.
Can we have your pillow at the decoration?
If you had Tullus's robes, you could buy the diamonds.
Yeah, we should try a few off. Straight off the thing, yeah.
All right. Well, I will prep that for tomorrow, and
Rayla is horrified. She doesn't know why you would want to cast a necromantic spell. She does not believe that that is the only way to go. There must be some other way. There must be another way. We cannot bring necromancy into the realm of Goros.
But why would Boros allow me to cast the spell if she didn't want me to use it? You know? Like, why do I have access to it?
These are questions you must answer for yourself.
My answer is that we gotta use it. It can be used for bad things, but we gotta use it for good things. And this is a good cause. Lucanius does not deserve to die. These people don't deserve this curse that's been forced upon them. We can help them.
And then become necromancers ourselves. That's not a good trade-off.
Maybe through the power of Goras, it's taking a tool of the necromancer, but changing it and using it for positive healing.
I must pray.
Maybe it's not the spell itself, but who wields it for what purpose.
I urge you to pray on it, Emmeryn. Pray and find within yourself whether it is the right thing to do.
Well.
Okay, so I think we'll end there unless there's anything else that you want to do specifically that can be taken care of. If you did all that by midnight, you'd be able to get a long rest in before the audience with the Queen. So basically, we can start the next session with the audience with the Queen, or preparing for the audience with the Queen.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, we're good.
I might do one thing before. I want to cast Commune either this session or next session. I don't really care. But like when I take a long rest, actually no, probably before I go to bed so I don't waste a spell slot.
Okay. What do you want to do?
I want to cast Commune.
And why do you want to do this?
I want to ask Goros some questions.
Do you know
up
what
to
questions?
3 questions. I know the first one is using Revivify to heal Lucanius something I should be doing?
So, what level spell slot are you using? 5th level?
Yeah.
And what you're asking, just that one question, or what's your?
That's my first question.
Okay. So say it for me again.
Is using Revivify to heal Lucanius something I should be doing?
The voice you hear is the voice of your father. And he says, the pragmatic way is often the best way to go about solving a problem. So if a necromantic spell is the fastest, as long as you know the dangers, then it would be the way to go.
Had another one and it just went out of my brain. Did Straben help you create the tidal wave that swept away the dragon?
The voice you hear is the voice of Gaston, the
Oh.
skeleton in the library. And he says, maybe, and maybe not. Perhaps if you had read about the marriage of Straben and Goras fully, you would be able to answer this question yourself. It is up to you to decide whether that is a truth or a falsehood.
Have any hand in it?
Say that again.
Did Tullus have any hand in it?
The voice that you hear is the voice of Laralac.
God dang it.
And he says, oh no, it was not Tullus.
Oh god. I hate it. I hate it so much.
Not creepy.
Oh god. Oh, okay.
I'm glad you asked that last, and then your connection is severed immediately.
I am like putting socks like on my head. Scalp massage.
All right, well,
Boy.
let's end there. There's a lot to think about.
Yeah.
Think about what you want to do for the Queen's audience next time. And otherwise, I think we can say goodbye to our audience. So everybody wave.
Bye.
And we will. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Thank you for being a fan, and we hope you are enjoying our game. I hope you're enjoying as much as I'm enjoying it. I love just messing with my players. So, especially Emmeryn.
Uh-huh. Yep. Uh-huh.
All right. And that will take us out. So.